Recording in progress.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September 26th, 2023 regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Dave Abdallah,
Here.
Councilman Saxon,
No, we just call that.
Molly Wood.
Here.
Nancy Dyer,
Here.
Robert Clinton.
Here.
and Tom Michael.
Here. Thank you very much. Our pledge of allegiance is going to be led by another Detroit Lions fan, Mike Blackburn. Wow. I'm partial. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up, is item number 3. Council Chair, Councilman, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda of the regular meeting of September 26, 2023 as submitted. Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydoun and seconded by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion on that? None? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is our council vacancy appointment. Now, before we begin, if you don't mind, Councilman, I just want to tell some of those members in the audience and, of course, the candidates in general, how we're going to be doing this. There's going to be a motion to nominate all of the candidates. It's going to be one motion made by one of the council members. So this way, everybody's automatically nominated. From there, the clerk is going to take roll call as to what each council member will be, who they will be voting for. So let's just choose a random name, Jane Doe. Okay. So Councilman Tom Wenzel says Jane Doe, and then there's two. In this case, it's going to be 3 out of 5 because there's 5 council members here. So I'm sorry. No, there was nothing. It said the majority of the council members. Your mic's off. Your microphone's off. Is that how after checking the parliamentarian went to do the screening, photos, replacement, that it has to be clear, that's the majority of the total, not specific to 3 out of 5, we did 5. Okay. It's under section 4.5. Yeah, I got it too.
I just, it's not a simple majority, it's like a 3.
Right, just to say simple. Other cities specify, let's say, 5 present, majority present, it doesn't say that, so they said we have to defer to Correct. And myself and the clerk had a conversation about this, and clearly, like you're saying, it just says the majority. The only thing is, in my particular opinion, it would not be the majority, and not that it matters either way, but would not be the majority of the total council body, because based on that theory, then somebody that's not here can possibly vote because they are part of that council body. And since they can't vote, they cannot be a part of the majority. There's the majority that are here. Right. Because with that theory, we vote as a majority on every other item on any agenda during any month. And in all of our dealings, at the end of the day, even though the parliamentarian may say that, and that is the Robert's Rules of Order, and all of the way a council body operates is at the end of the day based on the way the council body as a body is supposed to operate unless it's stated in the charter. And because it is not stated in the charter, we have always voted on all items on all agendas based on the body that's there. To me, that's the way we've always done it, and that's the way it should be done, unless it's in the charter otherwise. But just the parliamentarian, to me, would not be enough answer. No, well, I think what when we say parliamentarian, we want to reclaim the term. And if you look at other cities designate. This is just to fill vacancies. on the 4.5 in the charter. Now, other cities have in their charter, they designate, okay, majority at the council meeting. It's still a date, not for what you do on other votes and things like that. So when I spoke with them this afternoon, we were checking out the issue. What do other cities do? My opinion is going to be it has to be the full six that are here. Okay, so you would need four. One candidate would need four. That's my recommendation. If you choose to follow it or not, all I can do is say that. If someone appeals it, they can to the circuit way.
Right, yeah, no, I understand. I'm just saying it's not.
Yes, my opinion is pouring you now. And like they said, what that says, the language is the majority.
Right. But the only thing I'm making clear is it's still just an opinion. It's not necessarily in the charter that's all you have to do. So therefore, at the end of the day,
the charter says majority. It's a
majority. No, I realize, I recognize that. But what I'm saying, Roger, what I'm saying, it's no different than anything else on the agenda. Let's say last week, for example, when we voted, it was not the majority of the total council. It's the majority of the people that are in the council.
But filling, it's specific terminology for filling vacancies. As proposed last week in your agenda and what you're going to. If you're filling vacancies, and they understand people like, putting this together, that people may not be present at that time. With filling vacancies, it's beyond what you're talking about, which happened last week, whatever it is. So it doesn't designate that it should be, three or to be a majority here. It could have, but this, it doesn't. And so the way they read it, the way I read it, and they looked at other cities specifying filling vacancies, it's currently present at the time.
Right, but it's not specified, it's an opinion.
No, the charter says majority.
Right.
That's all.
Majority.
The city council.
I think what the councilman is saying, and I think you both are saying the same thing, majority is not being specified. Majority could be the amount of people that are at the meeting, you're thinking the majority.
No.
Hang on, Roger, please. At the end of the day, it's gonna be an opinion of yours or opinion of the body.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is exactly what you said. It doesn't say a majority opinion was present. It doesn't say that. It's silent. All it says is a majority. Well, there is. The majority of the city council. That's what it says. It doesn't delineate, it doesn't specify or designate or deviate from that. It just says a majority. It could have, but it doesn't. So the language, plain language, reading the plain language on its face is a majority.
I got a better idea. And it's tough to say this, but then if we don't have the honest opinion from either party, from either the clerk's office or the administration, which I don't know why we waited this long to figure that out, why don't we just hold off on this, table it, and wait until we have an actual opinion?
No, come on.
That's my personal opinion. If we don't have the right answer, we don't have the right answer. The council member not finished. Go on.
Well, I think somebody gets 4 votes, and they get 4 votes, it's a good point. That's number one. Number two, section 4.5 of the charter, filling vacancies in elective office. And the city attorney is correct. It says that it's appointed by a majority of the city council of a qualified person who shall serve blah, blah, blah.
Right.
The issue is the definition of majority. Now, in the legislature, it was those present and voting. Because otherwise, if, for example, they must be still, but not still a member of the council, it'd be a situation where he could vote for his successor, or we could never reach a majority. But that, the issue is Councilman Ray Dune is the city attorney, so the issue of majority, I think it goes the majority of the president voting. For Dearborn, it's like the next highest vote. Whoever the council votes in.
It's exactly what I read. And to me, the way I would decipher it, the majority would be the majority of the council members that are body that are present. And honestly, I wish I would have known the difference in opinion ahead of time, because then we could have.
It wasn't raised with the issue, but it doesn't say a majority of the people present. The language in the charter doesn't add that, what you just said.
But
it could add, but it doesn't.
Chair, and I did speak, like I said, I did speak with the clerk, and I said, I want to clarify, the charter says majority, and went back and forth, and she even looked into a lot of stuff, and there was nothing that was, clear cut. The majority would be total council body or the ones here. Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Council Chair. You have to take consideration, say the extreme happened where we had 4 members that for some reason or another resigned or God forbid got killed in a car accident or something. We had 4 open seats and we only had 3 active members. Then we wouldn't be ever be able to nominate.
Well, if you have resigned and answer the question because they are resigned, are no longer part of the city council, they resigned. And the vote is that they are no longer part of the city council, it's not down to 6. The majority is 6. But if you want to do, if you don't want to, you want to add things to interpret it another way, I wish, I didn't hear anything from Rich. Sorry, we did that other opinion letter I did this morning, but I didn't hear anything else. So I'm just looking at.
Did you guys get an opinion letter this morning?
So basically, in summary, we could really come to a conclusion on this. The charter is not that clear and it needs an interpretation. So even Robert's rules of order, which is what all council or most council bodies follow, including ours. But again, there's a book this thick. Do we follow every single rule? No, it's at the discretion of the council bodies which way we go. So I'm gonna do this just out of fairness. I was under the opinion, in my personal viewpoint, would be just the majority of the ones that are here. So if it would have been 4, but again, that's my opinion. No, I get it. But I will go with the body's opinion is what I'd like to do now. Councilman Mobley Jr. is suggesting we just hold off until we get an opinion. Based on that theory, we hold off a week or 2 or 3 or whatever it is. Then at that point, you're gonna elect somebody for just maybe 1 meeting or 2 meetings, which is almost useless, quite honestly. At that point, me, I would be in favor of not voting at all at that point. Just that's where the election.
We already put it out there. And
I kind of wish you guys would have told us coming in.
I didn't know. So
Okay, but if it's by Thursday, we have to have obviously a special meeting. Because next Tuesday, there's no meeting, there's no general meeting.
you have,
All right, so I'm gonna take the council bodies, the thing is me personally, I'm in favor of just voting 3 out of 5. If it turns out to be 4, great. Councilman Wenzel, what's your opinion?
3 out of 5.
For one, I don't want us to be wrong, because
Some way, somehow, we're end up in the Supreme Court, Dearborn Heights. But I'm gonna go with the majority then, the majority that's here. I think we vote on, who knows, guys? If a majority is even gonna happen, but, ultimately, we're making huge decisions on behalf of the city. Today, we have things regarding, new PCs, I believe, for the library using grant funding. Thank you so much, Mike McCaffrey, on that. But we're making that decision using taxpayers' money, and the majority's gonna make that decision whether it passes or that. And if it's 3-2, and we get 3-2, does that consider pass?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, well, then I think it should be equal playing field across the board. Okay.
Thank you, Council Chair. I agree that it's those present and voting, it's my opinion, though, city attorney and councilman, they do bring up a good point. But I think we hold the vote. Somebody gets 4 votes, then it's a weak point. If you don't, you get 3 votes. They're not a member of the council until we approve the minutes at the next meeting. So we'll have some time to look in.
Not necessarily. I was sworn in instantly. And then
It plans to swear whoever it is instantly. And by the way, make it clear, I have no, whether it's 4 votes or 3 votes, it's all the same. I speak my personal opinion, it should be 3 votes. 3 votes, but it doesn't bother me if it's 4 or 5. Councilwoman?
I think so. Very, but there's 3.
Okay. So lastly, the only other alternative we've got is to wait till we get an opinion and wait until next Tuesday. Anybody interested in that as an option?
I'm gonna tell you that that's what I personally feel comfortable with. Regardless, I'm gonna do what the body wants. I would like an opinion, just because we don't want to be wrong. But then again, we also don't want to delay it. Regardless, if you guys want to move forward with the 3, I'm gonna move forward with the 3. I still think the in the right direction.
Okay, anybody would like to wait until next Tuesday? Okay, and I want to make something clear, if you wait for an opinion, just so that you know, it's just an opinion of a particular attorney as to how they're deciphering the word majority means. It's still not black and white. It's still an opinion. It's not, unfortunately, way back when, I was your father there, councilman? But the councilman's father was was involved in writing the charter, they just didn't make it that clear, unfortunately. Okay, so we're all gonna go with 3 out of 5, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, also, that's what we're gonna go with. All right, so with that being the case, we're gonna go, the clerk is gonna go ahead and take roll call. Each person will say who they are nominating. I don't think we even read 3 names. I'm sorry? No, I'm just giving everybody a heads up. And then we're gonna go ahead and take a roll call. Each council member will pick a person. Whoever gets 3 out of 5 votes or more will be sworn in today as a council member. I can tell you this, I speak for myself personally. Actually, I'll wait till the comment section. Well. No, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. No, I will allow public comment, absolutely, absolutely. It is, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this was put before, I think it should be after. I'll switch them around. Good point, thank you. It was part of motions in reversal, we'll reverse it back. Okay, so, next, I'm gonna go ahead and go to public comments, and then we'll go back to 3A. Is that okay to switch them around, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna define our appointments, we did it this way.
I know, but what I'm thinking, I still would like to give members of the audience an opportunity to speak with their council members before they vote. So if they speak after we vote, it's on me. So with that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead and go to public hearings and comments on agenda items only. You will have 2 minutes to speak. Please state your name, city, and street, please. Vince, thank you for pointing that out. Good point.
My pleasure. It's Scott Kowski, Columbia Street, item 3A. I hope you guys make a good choice, because as far as I feel as a citizen, I feel you should go with somebody with experience, even if they're controversial or not controversial. We need somebody to challenge this administration. Make sure that the policies are pleased. So for that being said, we have some people here that offered or gave us their great experiences on their jobs and working great money and stuff like that, and they want to come and see. If you're not picked tonight, gentlemen, would you be willing to do your experiences with grant writing with them? You know, you want to help the city like that, want to help the city. You know, let's not just show up at 1 or 2,000 meetings and expect to be on top. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hold on for a quick second, man. So I thought this might come up, and I'm just gonna address it. Okay. If we allow one candidate, then we have to allow the other candidates. Do you have a right to speak? Do you have a right to speak as a resident? I'm just throwing it out there. Just want to check. You, as council members, want to allow candidates to go up and speak again?
Will we do a second public comment?
Okay, as long as there's not too many candidates that want to speak, it's no problem. But go ahead, sir.
Hang on.
Yes.
There is hang on 1 second. Point of order. One second. Everybody should have the right to speak. This is an open forum.
Okay.
We should let everybody
Allow whoever wants to speak, please. Go ahead.
Please state your name.
thing as precedence over 60 years.
Okay, wait, name, city, street, please.
Rosanna Street, we have a precedent of 60 years. When I was on the council before, there were appointments for one person every 5th vote. That's what I remember by being on the council. If somebody has a longer memory than me, precedence has some issue here. Quite evident A forum is a forum. Why do you bother doing it at every meeting if it has no meaning?
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else in the audience that would like to comment? City and street name, please.
It says over here, the majority vote does not indicate, it doesn't indicate if it's 4 or 3 or what.
Right.
It just says majority.
Right.
So basically, if anybody's absent, they're not qualified to vote. That is what it is. You're not qualified, you're not here on Zoom, you're not allowed to vote. It does not say in the charter how many people. So it's a three people vote on the same person, that's holding the vote. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, see none. Anybody on Zoom? This is treasurer explain. Okay, treasurer, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My address is on North Valley in Dearborn Heights. And I have a current claim item that I wanted to ask a question about, but I do want to say I wish you all the very best in your decision this evening. It's a very important decision that you have in front of you. And as you know, I mean, if you look at your agenda tonight, I pray that you pick the best qualified person. And, wish you all the best with that. The current claim item that I'd like you to please look at is current claim item number 24, which is page 104. And I notice we're not numbering our claims in the packet. I think that would be a really wise idea. It would be helpful to the residents as well as yourselves. This current claim is JD Electric, and I have the invoice in front of me. Do you want me to give you a minute to pull it up out of your packet? Page 104?
Okay.
Okay. So JD Electric invoice number is 31187. And if you go down to the description, the first item says due to storm damage for $3,600. And then the second line item on this bill, on this invoice, looks like it's a change order of $1,500. One, being that it's storm damage, my question is, wouldn't it normally fall under insurance claim through MMRNA? And if not, then why? And then also, too, if you can get an explanation on or elaborate to tell us why the change order. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, it does say in here, price including labor and materials, plus lifter truck cost, fencing and new conduits. That's the $1,500 change order.
Right. And yeah, and I'm just curious why that wasn't in the 3,600, which really, if you look at the 3,600, it talks about replacing 300-foot messenger wire, plus number 2. I mean, I guess maybe there was discovery once they were into the project, but again, I still would draw back to the insurance claim. So, because I imagine in, the press is, speaking of presses this evening, we would see, like, if there's a city car that's in an accident, this would all go through NRMA, like storm damage claim. I imagine, especially for this amount, which of course is $5,100 total. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody from administration that can answer that?
There's someone who can find it.
Who's sorry? Yeah, it looks like. Rick, are you on here? Rick? Are you on here, Madam Chair? Rick, are you able to answer that particular question about EBL electric?
Yeah, what it is like, the tree fell down and knocked the line down. And they replaced the line, and when they replaced the line, it also pulled the wire out of the ground. That was the change order for the underground one.
About the insurance claim, though, any information on that, sir?
It was given to Mariana for the insurance. Yeah.
And you sure it's just an adjuster, did an adjuster give us something that said this didn't qualify?
Mariana's got a hand up front, Mariana. Mute yourself, please.
Good afternoon. Yes, we had originally given this to our insurance company, but it was not covered by the insurance company. Because it was going down in chemical, which wasn't covered. It wasn't building property damage, which is why. So we did do our due diligence and noticed that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Council Chair, I do have someone that wanted that was running.
Okay, on agenda items? Okay, fine.
Hello, Gary Mayotte, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. And I've never joined by phone. Am I able to be heard?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Council Chair, for the extra minute. My comments will pertain to item 9B. I recently came before the honorable body and commented that the office department with all the individual meetings are retention problems caused by poor leadership and management part of the mayor, the police chief, and the director of namely at the top. I must express my strongest concern that this proposed agreement is not financially sustainable on part of the city and will create massive problems and it may very well cause the city to become insolvent. Your honorable body should refer this matter back to the administration to obtain appropriate cost estimates, including actuarial reports that will address the pension implications, not only with respect to patrol officers, but with respect to the supervisors as well. I would note that actuarial reports generally assume some things with regard to race. My understanding that the actuarial reports that the city has obtained in the most recent past are not based on assumptions that there will be increases in the realm of what is proposed in the collective bargaining. And that therefore, the amounts that we're looking at, not only in terms of the general budget, which this is going to cost millions and millions of dollars, which should be shared with members of the public exactly how much it costs. And not only in terms of the overtime, which is going to be huge under these circumstances, but also in terms of the pension that will end up being increased. And by the way, my recollection that there is a meeting quote with regard to supervisors. So if you end up approving this, you will automatically increase the supervisors in the same way and increase their pension and their final average pension. And I can't imagine how this is going to end up being sustainable. There should end up being a full vetting of this proposed agreement in terms of the financial implications, both in terms of pay, or all in terms of pay, overtime, and both for the patrol officers and the police supervisors. And there should be also a really clear understanding of how this all fits together. Because, you know, it's 1% of the CAOM. I obviously like police officers, but we need to have some horizontal and vertical equity in terms of compensation among the different departments. Because otherwise, especially if you're dealing, for example, with the firefighters, I like the firefighters, but they're going to come in and say, why aren't we receiving a comparable increase? And then when we don't get that comparable increase, because a way to report it in the city about being driven into working management, then they're going to potentially go to 312 arbitration and get it anyway, because they're most likely comparable will end up being the police makers or the firefighters. So again, I urge you very strongly to have this fully costed out in terms of all of the different. To share that information with the public and to address these issues in a way that's just not a matter of throwing taxpayer money at it. Because that's what it appears that is being done by this administration. And I can't believe that financial people involved would end up believing that any of this can end up being sustained. And I think there needs to be a very public discussion about what exactly is being done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
Anybody else on Zoom or in the audience that has a comment? Okay. Our HR director. Yeah, come on. I'm gonna ask you to answer that. Not right now. When you thinking of it.
Kaminsky, Amboy Street. Villanova is one of the Ps on the agenda for tonight. Is Villanova the cement company that poured the cement down the drain? Because if they are, I would have a problem with the city paying the bill until they have to be cleaned up.
No.
It's not, okay. That's all I have.
But on there, I was there in I guess we'll call it kind of like an impromptu meeting with the mayor on that, and he has instructed people to look into that.
Thank you.
Okay. With no other comments, we'll go back to 3A. So again, let's go ahead and start with 3A. Council Chair, Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council nominate all of the candidates, which makes me feel great, that apply to file the current city council seat vacancy, terms ending December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydoun, seconded by Councilwoman Dwyer. Before we go to roll call, any comments or? Council Chair, Councilman, go ahead.
I think every single person here that put their name in today, I'm so proud of you guys. This is not easy, and I want you to know I actually had a conversation with Ray Muscat today, and he said, "Man, I feel glad to not be in your seat. I can't wait to be on your part." And I want you guys to know that these decisions today that we make, I have a checklist across here because I am so indecisive of who really I'm going to be voting for. It's nerve-wracking. And I think each and every single one of you guys are amazing. I think each and every single one of you do a wonderful job up here. But ultimately, a decision is going to be made. And whatever decision is going to be made tonight, just know that we need to make sure that our city continues to move forward. And my blessings and partners with each and every single one of you that put your name out. And to Councilman Muscat, thank you for making this tough decision on us. But I'm proud of each and every time Zoom laughing with. Oh yeah, he fell off his chair. But really, I am grateful for all of you, A to Z, who put their name in. This is very tough. Please don't stop fighting the good fight. Continue to show up to the meeting. Continue to engage, and continue to stay involved with your doing your civil duties. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good comment, yeah. First of all, I want to thank all the different candidates that applied for this position. Quite frankly, I think there'd be that many, so that's impressive that many people are trying to do their civic duties. I love it. Number two, I do want to say, and I'm not just saying saying it just to say it. This truly was a difficult decision because each and every candidate had a lot of positive attributes. I did not see anybody stand out in where I thought, oh my God, these people are terrible, or these three are not good. I mean, each and every candidate had a lot of positive attributes. It made it very difficult for me. I went through and at the end, I sat down over the weekend. I went through my system, and use the criteria that if I was walking into the booth right now and I was gonna vote, what criteria would I use to vote for a particular person? And I had 5 things that were important to me, personally. And I just ranked each and every candidate on that. It didn't make it super clear. Unfortunately, a lot of them passed the test.
Yeah, every single one of you guys
Yeah.
on this list. got
So,
the
but we
same
can
one.
only pick one. We can only pick one, unfortunately. And I do want to tell the rest of the people that may or may not be picked today, don't give up. You know, I'm not putting you on the spot, but Councilman Baydun lost by very little the first time, then ran again and made it. Number 2, very important, keep in mind that at the end of the day, the residents are ultimately gonna pick who's gonna be on council, whether it's this year or 2 years from now, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just keep that in mind. But for right now, it's only gonna be 3, 4 meetings. I didn't think it'd be that popular for 3, 4 meetings, but it is, and let's go with it. Councilman?
Thank you, Council Chair, and I agree, both with Councilman Baydun and Council Chair Abdullah. Was very impressed, a lot of, talented, diverse candidates, particularly several of the women that applied. Very impressed, and, please stay with it. Um, we like your involvement. I know Councilman Musket for years attended the meeting, but did not run, and it's somebody's urgent to just run. Still be here, but, it's helpful. Thank you.
I'd like to get the ball rolling. Can I nominate someone?
No, not yet. We're gonna vote individually.
Okay.
Okay? And just for full disclosure and transparency, I'm gonna tell you my personal criteria, what I use. Dedication to the community / city, that was one criteria. Skill set was another criteria. Shows up to meetings was another criteria. Experience on city council, whether they have been on city council or just general experience in city council, and whether they're on the ballot or not. No one of these was bigger than the next, but these were important issues to me, and that's what I used to come up with my decision. Okay? Any other comments from council members? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Steve Abdallah.
Mr. Zuhair Abdullah.
Norwegian.
Now you're gonna make your vote.
No, people.
Zuhair Abdullah.
Nancy Ryder. I'd like to nominate Amada Copy.
Okay, just to be clear, we're not nominating, so take the vote. For councilman. Yeah, sure, vote. Is that your vote? Okay.
Vote no on Zuhair Abdullah, and I also nominate Ahmed Al-Khafi.
That's your vote. Just want to make sure we're not nominating. We're voting for Ahmed Al-Khafi, okay? Zuhair Abdullah.
3-1.
Just like in the past, we're gonna go ahead and have whoever has been appointed be sworn in, and they'll sit on that council, so, Abdullah, can you come on up? All right. Congratulations to all the candidates and congratulations to the current appointment. Okay. Next up is item 4A, approval of the minutes.
No, because that's.
Oh.
Yeah.
We need you to knock this out in the next 10 seconds.
Since you've been recently elected or appointed, you're the next agenda. So if they say about the rookie, they get time first.
Okay, so next part. No, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, item 4A. Here, okay, Councilman, stand up first. Well, not, later on during poll time, stand up for a second, we're going to take a picture and just leave that part. That's okay. I know, but for right now, we have no choice. I'm sorry, no, we want.
Oh my gosh, it's not that.
Let's go ahead and go to item, let's go ahead and go to item 4A. Okay, item 4A. Council Chair, Councilman, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of September 12th, 2022, with an amendment to motion 23-424 regarding the Hunter Lane Park and Van Hoen Park improvement. The cost of the proposal for the Van Hoen Park improvement is not to exceed $57,500 as submitted. Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Baidoon and seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 6. Council Chair. Fund transfers to the claims. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims ACH wire transfer 6 through 1 through 6-49 as submitted. Second. Motion made by Councilman Baidoon, seconded by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion on that? Council Chair, Councilman?
I know that you said that there was some discussion regarding the potential of cement being thrown into our sewer system. I watched the video of the gentleman who sent it out on Facebook. I know this is being investigated. What I want to know is, as I was going through the claims, I happen to not see that we're paying them anything right now, but I just wanted any clarity from anyone else on the body that if we are paying them anything right now. Because if we are today, I'd like to hold off on that until that, from the administration or Mr. D can speak on that.
Yes. There was probably called it. I mean, I already talked from, there were several companies working in that area. And, so, as of right now, we don't know what actually dumped it. Well, I need the pictures, so if we can get a picture so we can send it to the police for them to investigate. Right now, I don't have anything to go to talking to neighbors, trying to get a video or picture to see who actually did the dump. Right now, I don't have data.
Are we paying AG today?
No, there was some people doing private work, driveways and sidewalks, for neighbors. So I'm not really sure.
What I'm asking,
They're not on.
okay, so we're not paying AG in this position.
We shouldn't be talking about neighbor company because,
No, I understand, but look, guys, let's call it for what it is. If we're paying a company that, and when I say they are, I don't want anybody to say we are. But if there's allegations that we are, I want to hold off.
Now, maybe not, but it's just a refrain from accusing anyone, any particular company.
Roger, you gotta understand, there's a video circulating social media and WhatsApp. So the video's out there.
But that's the only video. It doesn't necessarily mean that every video has to be support, unless it's qualified, and it's about making complaints. Now, right, it's about.
Okay, that's right.
That's all. Whatever it doesn't have to be something. I didn't say anything. I
this company doing that needs to be investigated? Because if this is happening, anything with this video are basically flooded. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a victim of having a basement flooded. Now that's the last thing that we need to want right now. It's unit that works on this oil, other things being done, spent on I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a ventilator. Yeah. So we
They say they want. Okay, thank you. Any other items on item 6?
Council Chair. Well, just quickly, there was a discussion about a change order that was put in additional damage, storm damage, and treasurer brought up. Should pay it, or whether it was turned into the insurance, that's change orders in construction are common. Number one, and number two, it's a claim that has to be paid. That's
direction. It said that they tried to turn this into this. Is that should there be some backup on that saying denied an insurance company? Therefore, we have to pay that. And why is the city paying this?
According to Rick Watland, was falling on, he said the tree fell over.
Right? And if a tree falls over on something I own, my property, insurance company covers it. Was it a city line or a private?
The only aspect to keep in mind is the city still owns the Warren Valley Golf Course. I don't know.
Council Chair, there was a pole right outside the city hall. Sorry? There was a pole right outside the city hall.
Yeah, I don't think this had anything to do with Warren Valley.
There was something on it about Warren Valley. Warren Valley. Yeah. Just say Warren Valley.
Dr. Dean has.
Director Deep, go ahead.
Let me try.
So this is not a building claim. It's an overhead line in the field that supplies power to a remote standing location. It's an outdoor overhead line. So when the tree fell outside, it's not a building claim. It's an outdoor overhead line, and that is not included in building coverage. So that's why it was denied, and it was when the tree fell, a big branch took out the wire and pulled the underground cable.
But it wasn't Warren Valley Golf Course, because that's what it says on here.
Warren Valley Golf Course, yeah, it's an outdoor type thing. It's an overhead electric line. That's all it is.
Council Chair, I mean, when a tree falls on my power line, I don't pay to have it done. The DTE comes out and fixes it.
So this is not a DTV installation. That's a private facility with a private extension cord that supplies power to a remote area. It's not DTE. DTE's responsibility stops at the building. So if it was outside the building from the DTE line to us, yes, DTE will pay it. But this is inside installation. It's inside 250 acres. That's a city-owned facility.
So we're not covered on any kind of line that runs through the golf course overhead. I mean,
I get me.
I don't understand why insurance wouldn't cover this. It's on your property. It's something you own. I mean,
well, usually I don't know what the deductible is. We don't have that in front of us, but it depends on what the deductible is. This whole amount for this was $1,500 for the change order. So I assume, I don't have the contract in front of me, that our deductible is much higher than that. Okay.
well,
Yeah.
I'd like to see why, and what's not reading the cover it. What's their reasoning for not covering it?
We'll have Mariana speak. Go ahead.
The denial letter.
Good afternoon. And we did email. I pulled up the email from Tracy Poole, who's our property claims manager at the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, MMRMA. And unfortunately, our electrical power poles, electric wires, and transformers are excluded from the payment under the building and personal property coverage. So that was the excuse that they provided for not covering this damage.
I gotta tell you guys, um, I think, Council Chair hit it on, hit the nail on the head. If we were to pull an MMRMA, we were gonna pay a lot more money and just on our deductible. Let's just call it for what it is. I'd also like to kind of see, does the contract between us and the Issa Brothers or Ward Valley, are we held responsible for that? Or would they be held responsible for that? And so I think this is the question that we should be asking. I think ultimately it needs to be paid, it needs to be paid. But really, what is the maintenance on us, or is it gonna be on them? So I would have the contract directly in front of us to be able to comment on that. Unless, Mayor, are you familiar? Yeah, I don't have the funding side. Okay. Well, the next chair, that's possible. I have a question for Ali Deeb on this issue. Mr. Deeb, I see on this invoice that it's extra money for trenching and conduit. Now I'm hoping that this line was put underground.
So, it is underground to a point, but, you have to cross a river to get it to the final, location. So, it is underground until you get to the river and it goes over. So the overhead distance is extremely short.
So why are we putting it underground? Why are we retrenching? It's already underground now.
Because the old wire was fried, so they have to trench new one.
Okay. Anybody else have a question on that? Councilor Chair, Councilman?
I just want to know, we have contact with, we do have a contract with the Issa Brothers and with Revive Golf Management. Do they have insurance to cover any damage happened to that property, or the city is responsible for?
Okay, again, without the contract being here, we wouldn't be able to tell. Obviously, in general, when somebody's leasing, they're not responsible for a tree falling over. It typically be the landlord. So just based on that theory, I imagine it's us. But I don't have the contract in front of me to be able to.
I think this is valuable. I don't think this is something we should not, but I can look into it for council.
Yeah, so if you want to look into, the only option you have available as a council body, we're not going to have the contract directly in front of us, would be to possibly table this one until we get an answer from, what do you call it, and go on the next council meeting.
That's fine. I think you can do that.
Okay, so whoever made the motion, you'd have to make it with tabling this one.
Council Chair, Councilman, what line item is that?
Just the IV electric, they don't have a big.
Okay, Council Chair, I made the trunks, okay. The Dearborn Heights City Council approved the current claims and ACH wire transfer 6-1 through 6-49, with the removal of IV electric as submitted.
And then send it back to administration.
Send it back to administration for clarification.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydoun, originally was seconded by Councilman Constant. Are you?
Well, I would say this, we, in that regard, I think we should approve the whole thing. It's, we've been told the claim was made and it was not honored, number one. Number two, we were told by the city engineer that, it was something that was their private line. So it's a moot point. I mean, it's already been checked into. I think we should approve it subject or not. I'll second.
Okay, so seconding the amendment by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item,
Council Chair.
yes,
Also, were there 3 bids taken on this project?
The change order, what's this thing is,
Well, this is the work plus the change orders, one big thing, but I mean, it's over $1,500, it's 5,000. Normally, the more standard procedure is to get 3 bids.
okay, Mayor's gone. Rick Watland, are you on there? Rick? Yeah, he's on there.
His name?
Mr. Dib, unless you know the answer to this by any chance? Or Mariana? Okay, well, either way, it's being tabled, so with administration, okay, but,
I'm sorry, it was handled by the building department. I just assisted. I provided technical support, but the actual work was done by.
Okay, can whoever's looking into this, administration also get the answer to Councilman Wenzel's question if there was bids that went out for this? Okay? Mariana, I assume you somehow will either be handling it or coordinating it with somebody, is that correct?
Yeah, I can follow up. And again, there was no bids because this was a storm emergency. So just like with any other emergency, it is covered under the emergency clause. It wasn't something planned and the power needed to be restored. So there were no bids for this.
All right, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it again. Next item on the agenda is item 7A.
I'll read it.
CEDD Director Jamal bid award, Deacon Center Restroom Improvement. Recommended motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the Deacon Center Restroom Improvement to the SEMA LLC as the lowest qualified bidder in the amount of $62,000 and authorize the controller to return the bid bonds to the unsuccessful bidders. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city, pending review by Corporation Council. Additionally, authorize the CEDD director to approve necessary change orders up to $12,400. That's 20% of the total bid amount. Furthermore, authorize the mayor, controller, or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment not to exceed $74,000. The charge to the Berwyn Center Improvement General Ledger accounts and paid from the unrestricted general fund pool bank account, which will be fully reimbursed from the U.S. Treasury accordingly, as outlined in 7A.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Abdul Haq and seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on Council Chair, Councilman? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I thank the administration. I thank the CDBG Director Hassan Jamal, Mr. Bezzi, who I also see is here. I know our fans from the Ian Center are here with us today. I'll probably see them Thursday at 12:30 as we play C volleyball. And this is, this was quick, this was swift. I think we brought this up 3-4 weeks. We just started pressuring it 3-4 weeks ago, and the administration and the CDBG director, along with his colleague, Mr. Benzi back there, did a phenomenal job in bringing this up. And so let's just get the ball moving. I mean, those toilets are very short and the sinks are very small. So this is congratulations to all of our seniors at the Eaton Center. Councilwoman?
We're finally going to have ADA approval. We'll have bars in the restroom. We've got gorgeous pictures and we've got a stack this much to read, and you guys did a great job. Thank you.
That's it, Chair. Councilman? I really want to thank the administration that finally they are moving, working to improve the senior centers and the public facilities of the city. And I want to thank Director Jamal, because I know he puts lots of time and toward these things. And I hope that we go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations on getting this thing done. Unfortunately, long overdue, but at least glad we're going in the right direction. That's why I take this to vote. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 7B, Controller King's bid award. Chair. Yep. Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the bid for a new payroll system to Paycom and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city pending review by Corporation Council. In addition, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued for the payment of these services from General Ledger account number 101-200-818-000, contract services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrant and payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment is permitted by and consistent with city council section 8.9 as outlined in 7B.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant seconded by Councilman Abdul Haq. Any discussion on that? I don't like in the motion, we don't have a dollar amount, that I see. And I'm trying to go to the monthly amount. Yeah, it's not dollar amount. I don't like that honestly, personally open-handed. Is there any type of CAD controller that you're familiar with us?
On the second page, I think, 6,100.
Right, but I'm saying in the motion though, ultimately what's gonna ultimately counts what's in the motion.
We can add that to the motion.
That's what I'm saying, I'd like to have a dollar figure.
Okay, this is gonna cost us about $85,380.36 annual cost. Right now, Paylocity is costing us $93,645.96. So it is cheaper than Paylocity. And we're really not doing it because it's cheaper. We're actually doing it just because it's going to give us a better, much more payroll records tracking better. We're going to be able to have it's more user friendly. We're going to have our employees actually posting their own time as opposed to administration doing it for them. So there's a lot of additional things that Paycom can do that Paylocity can't do.
I saw the comparisons, by the way, and I was actually impressed. I'm somebody in my work of business. I look at a lot of pay stubs for my clients, and I saw the way the structure of the new, example that you guys had in the backup. I was impressed. I thought it was easier, and I liked it. I really did. It was straight to the point.
Council Chair, Councilman?
The $90,000 is that the total amount? Are we gonna have to buy new software, or we have to have training, or any new staff, or computers?
The 93,000 was Paylocity. That's what we're paying now. Paycom's only charging us 85,000, and that does include all of our training.
All
So we
training,
do
all
not have to
software,
buy any
everything,
software, no.
all the desk chairs and everything we need? Okay.
All the desks and chairs.
Okay, so the only thing I would suggest and I'm gonna allow you to go next, Councilman. The only thing I'd suggest is in the motion that we put a cap, the amount not to exceed, and we'll just say maybe 86,000. I just like a dollar figure on there.
Okay.
If Council would like to amend that.
Yes.
Okay, and who made this second?
I did.
Okay, so motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Abdullah. Any comments, Abdullah?
Yes. Does this company have experience with other cities?
Yes. Yes, they have municipal experience as well.
Did we check if they are happy with their services?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 8A. Anyone?
If I want to give the appointments,
Council Chair.
recommended motion.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll make this Councilwoman Breyer, but she had started. Go on, Councilwoman.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council concur with the mayoral reappointments of Ms. Lisa Corte and Mr. David Hall to the Tax Increment Finance Authority and Brownfield Redevelopment Authority boards, that's known as TIFA, with each term expiring December 2026. In addition, concur with the mayoral appointment of Ms. Rachel Police to the Tax Increment Finance Authority and Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board's term to expire December of 2025. This appointment is to replace Mr. John Kellett as outlined in 8A.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilwoman Breyer and seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. 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 Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 8B.
Council Chair, move that the Dearborn Heights City Council grant permission to Star International Academy to hold their annual homecoming parade on Friday, September 29th, 2023 at 11 a.m. with staging to begin at 10 a.m. as outlined in 8B.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Bayun. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Next item on the agenda is reports from city officials. Council Chair, Councilman, I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the contract between the city and the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city as outlined in 9A. Okay, Council Chair. Motion made by Councilman Baydun and seconded by Catawba. Council Chair, we're, what is it? Who made the second? Okay, Councilman Blah. Council Chair, I mean, this is a great day in Dearborn Heights. We are witnessing history that a union like the Carpenters Union is receiving, a tentative agreement. And so I know that this is a back and forth. I think it's been, from what I was told by our HR director, I think a little over 7 or 8 years before we've had a tentative agreement with the Carpenters Union. So we really are, it's a bright day today here in Dearborn Heights. And so congratulations to those who are part of the Carpenters Union. We are grateful and thankful for that. If it gets approved. Thank you. Chair.
Just to let everyone know who our carpenters are. They're in the Carpenters Union. All of our building inspectors, our full-time building inspectors, are in the Carpenters Union. We don't have carpenters. Well, I mean, they're not union.
Yeah.
They're not the Carpenters Union.
Okay. Any other comments from council members? I can tell you that speaking with my experiences in that particular field, it's well deserved. I mean, and long overdue. We've got inspectors that were paid quite a bit less than a lot of other cities, and we were fortunate to not lose our inspectors. Quite honestly, if I could be blunt, surprised we didn't lose any inspectors. But I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad Rick is running a tight ship. And I'm glad all of the inspectors stayed. They're all great inspectors. I'm glad they're getting their fair due. Council Chair, Councilman, just also to add on, which you brought it to my attention, Rick does run a tight ship. He does a great job. There isn't a time where I call him and I say, hey, can you help this person? Can you help this person? Again, I'm similar to you. I hire everything out. I don't know I can't put a nail in the wall. My wife, I put a lot of holes in my drywall. It doesn't look good, but Rick, I'm sure is good with that stuff. And kudos to Rick, man. For real. Rick, thank you for everything you do. Yep, absolutely. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ask a question for Director Hazlitt on this one, or Human Resources Director, if you don't mind. On this one and on the next one, we've had calls, concerns, questions, and then even had a council meeting in regards to the potential cost on this as far as our pensions, et cetera, et cetera. The law, and not having an actuarial report on this.
So are you speaking about the Carpenters Union specifically, right? So this is 3 employees there, and the change that we made in this agreement is that we went from hourly positions to salary positions. So we're now saving on time and a half, which were part of the additional costs with the group in the past. In terms of actuarial with respect to 3 people, not as much of an impact. The next group I'll talk about when we get to that group.
Okay, then if you don't mind staying up there, because we'll be addressing that, please. Thank you. Okay, any other questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Councilwoman's asked to do the next one. Councilwoman, go ahead, 9B.
All right, I'm making the motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the contract and letter of understanding between the city and the Dearborn Heights Police Officers Association, effective July 1 of 23 through June 30th, 24, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement and letter of understanding on behalf of the city as outlined in 9B.
Second.
And I'd like to add one little thing. We're finally going to give our police officers more money. It should bring more officers in. We bumped it up very nice.
So motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Constant. I have our Human Resource Director address some of the questions, but I can tell you, this has been a pet peeve of mine. I was totally disappointed for many, many years, and I always spoke my say on this. when I started on the council, our police officers were starting pay at 32,000. Honestly and bluntly, as a resident, I didn't know that at the time, 8 years ago, until I got on council. I thought, how could they make the same thing as a guy or gal working at a fast food joint? It just didn't make any sense to me. We pushed it as a council body, and the best we could get found was 40. But now we are a lot more fair. We are a lot more competitive with other communities in the area. And the good news is I've spoken with the mayor, spoken with the police chief many times, and directors. We have right now, okay to say how many, Mayor? Yeah, there's 7 candidates that are like this close to being signed up on our police force. So we are going, God willing, in the right direction, and having this type of pay will definitely take us in that direction to be able to get, because you can't, it's hard to get police officers to come work for our city at 40,000 when a lot of the competing cities are at 60 and 62 and 56 and 57. We had no shot at it. Now, fortunately, at 60,000 starting pay, I thank the administration and thank our police officers union. Council Chair. Okay, but
Before we go on to that, and I'm just gonna echo, as our council president just stated, this is much needed. We are not competitive in Dearborn Heights. $40,000 is not something you can, bring a family forward. I'm glad to see that we've come to a tentative agreement. However, I also want to make sure that the city can afford this, because we have a fiduciary duty to the city and to the residents in ensuring that we can actually afford to do this. And then, ultimately, I think the gentleman that spoke earlier stated, you offer something like this for a starting police officer, are we going to offer something like this for a starting firefighter? And then the word is, so I just want to make sure that this is something that I know this is your specialty. It's not mine. So you're going to give us that understanding, and that we could truly, and I don't mean, can we afford this for the next year? Can we afford this for the next 20 years? Can my son continue to live here and know that, because it's only going to go up from here. And we're not going to be stuck at 60 for the next 20 years. At least I hope not. Thank you.
That's it, Chair. Well, if you don't mind, Councilor, I'm gonna let the director, she's been waiting for us, so go ahead.
Should we make a motion?
I'm sorry?
We haven't made a motion on this yet, have we?
No, we have.
We did.
Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and take it to discussion. So come on up, Director.
Okay, so with respect to our police department, yes, we did negotiate a significant wage increase for the group. And yes, part of the challenge that we've had as a city with all of our employee groups, so we've had a long-standing practice of suppressed wages. And as you're familiar, many of the ways that we accommodated this over the years is that we added days off, time off. Generally, in the public sector, we are very generous in the benefit category. We do have generous time off, paid holidays, generous benefit, defined contribution in terms of retirement. When it comes to compensation, then we're always going to be a little bit on the lower end than maybe what's in the private sector. But when we've been this far behind in terms of other municipalities, then our recruitment efforts were severely impacted. And as a result, our police officers are also working a lot of overtime. So when I'm fully staffed and my overtime is more manageable, that's where some of the funding for these increases come from. The second component is that we looked at sick time. So one of the things that has really been an impact on us as an organization is that when our public sector employees leave the organization, we are paying them an incredible amount of money to walk out the door. Now, this is a long-standing practice, and I'm not defaulting them about that, or I'm not criticizing about them. The city did what it had to do while it had to do it. What we're doing today with all of our employee groups is we're making an attempt to restructure their compensation. We're requesting some of that time back, not all of it, some of that time back, so that we have the resources to be able to fund this kind of a base pay salary increase. For this particular group, they were allowed to accumulate up to 225 days of sick time. 225 days. Now, the thing about the payout with that is that we recruit from within. So our patrol officers become sergeants and lieutenants and captains. That's what we want. But at that rate of pay, when they're walking out the door as a sergeant or lieutenant or captain, those days accumulated into that group as well. So what we've done in terms of future liability.
Can you give me an example of that day just for the general public? I understood, but it took me a second to catch on. So if they have 225 days.
We are paying them out at their daily rate.
So at the time that they exit the organization, whatever their current pay is, we're paying them to that per day. So what we negotiated to help balance this is there's a reduction of the 225 days. So they've gone from 225 to 86. That's the future liability strategy that we put in place so that we can afford this increase going forward.
Okay.
The third piece that I'll share with you is that this is a one-year contract. The reason why this is a one-year contract is that we have language under this bargaining agreement that anyone hired after 2011, which is the majority of our employees today, anyone hired after 2011 has a reduced ability for what gets contributed into their final average compensation. They have a reduced benefit in terms of retiree health insurance. And these were things that were very important to this employee group. They're also very important to us as a city. And we knew that was going to be a longer, deeper conversation for all of those actuarial table reasons that were mentioned before. So as a result, we were able to get the union to agree that we would do a one-year contract so that we could deal with the wage issue, which is the predominant factor that we're dealing with today. And then that gives us time to come back to the table early and start working on a thoughtful pension and retirement system for our employees that is sustainable. So that's why we put those parameters that we have in this agreement. That's why, as your HR director, on behalf of the administration and the union, which has ratified this tentative agreement, I request your support of this contract.
Also, Jim, can you please answer the question in regards to the actuarial?
No, I cannot answer that off the top of my head. These are complicated things. We hire a whole company to do that analysis.
No, the question is why it was not done. Why it was not done.
Because I have a one-year contract and I'm coming back to the table to deal with the pension issues in just a couple months. In addition, command officer's contract is also expiring June 30 of 24. So in terms of alignment and what we need to do for both of those groups, we'll be dealing with those issues at the same time so that we can craft the right kind of solution for us that's sustainable.
Okay, Councilman Wenzel. Thank you, Council Chair. I've got a question for our treasurer and our comptroller, but first I want to make a couple of things. Under this contract, our command officers, as mentioned before, the command officers who just got a really nice contract, really good contract a couple months ago. They'll receive an increase because their compensation is based on the patrol officers. If the patrol officers get an increase, which is a 50% increase in this case, then that's substantial on the command officers, and which is going to reflect all their benefits when they retire and their pension. So that could be astronomical or could be minute. We don't know. We're asked to vote on this. In my 6 years on city council, this is without a doubt the biggest contract that we've ever negotiated or had to vote on, because we didn't negotiate it, we're just voting on a 50% raise for a lot of guys, 40 officers and women, sorry. And another thing is all of our police officers, patrol officers that have been hired after 2011, in their contract, they have no health care after they retire. And that's a big issue. And I know we could negotiate that next year, but to go from 40 to 60 is a big chunk, 50%. The maximum I'd like to see is 40 to 50 this year, and work on their health care for when they retire. That's a big thing to a person who retires, their health care. You take your pension, big chunk of that, believe me, this guy knows. Big chunk of that goes right towards your health care. And so, I mean, all these numbers about what this it's not only a raise for the police officers, it's what affects everyone up in the next 20, 30 years as far as pensions go and the raises go in the future. And it could be astronomical. It could be more than the city can afford. But we have no idea because we never got an actuarial report on what it's going to cost the city in the long run.
Okay. Also, Councilman. Yes. I always, the previous years,
always wanted to give the police officers fair starting wage, and I wanted to give them, well, especially the ones who got hired after 2011, I want to give them health insurance like everybody else who been hired before. And the number is too high. If I just look at, you have 40 officers included in this. Is that the number of the officers who are
Patrol officers, 53 positions.
53 positions? If we raise them from, let's say, 40 to 60, that's close to how much money? $1 million? How much that will affect the pension requirement we have as city to put toward their
So
pension?
the patrol wage increase is $826,655. Sorry, $826,655.94.
How much it comes to approximately money? Since you done the
That's,
negotiation.
that is the cost of the increase
Okay.
for our current patrol officers and looking at vacant positions coming in at that entry level wage.
So that's annually 800.
That's the annual. So that is that 826,000 number is above what we budgeted for those positions for this fiscal year. Additional cost.
The effect on the pension in the long run. Normally, when the city gives something, it's very hard for us to take it back. My experience that they ask for more. I would recommend that we return this to the administration until we get actual report to see how much really it's going to affect our budget and if we can afford it.
Council Chair, I one other thing I wanted to say also, I want to say I support our police 100%, and I wish I could pay them $80,000 starting pay. I mean, if we could afford it, them and the fire and all of our workers in Dearborn Heights, they deserve the highest pay of the state of Michigan or in this country. If they work hard, I seen the guys trimming trees today. Those guys busted their butts, man. You should see how much they got done in an hour down the street. It's unbelievable. Our fire and our police department, top notch, and they do deserve the best. But we have to look off the financial situation of this city. And I would like our treasurer to speak on behalf of
Council
this.
Chair. Okay, this contract was negotiated for several months, and everybody involved with the contract, obviously the HR director, but we had a real attorney, a labor attorney, that was actually involved with this negotiation, and the comptroller. So they did go through all the numbers. And again, this is only for 1 year. And for somebody to come in, a person that used to work for the city, and again, we are filing grievance against this guy, to just come up and mislead the residents that he was part of the problem during when his presence here, mislead at the council about what he mentions. And again, he was part of the problem. I want to get into more of that because there will be an agreement, there'll be an agreement. But this was several months of negotiations with the police. And it was voted on unanimously by the police officers. And they did look at the numbers. And again, this is only for 1 year. And there was a lot of work. And due to the lack of work in the previous administration and the person that was sitting next to me back in the day, that's where our at where we have because of somebody like him. And we are trying to get back on track and take management right. Okay, that was done.
Again, the audience, I'm sorry, Mayor, please. In the audience, please, this is a city council meeting. This is not an audience meeting. If you prefer to speak, it's no problem, but then you gotta go outside and speak to each other. Please, no comments inside the audience. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Again, we have a lot of police officers, a lot of candidates, and there's a lot of police officers from other departments that are lined up to come and work for the city. So by you guys not approving this contract, it's on you guys. So you guys answer to the residents.
Okay.
Why these officers are not coming to Dearborn Heights. And we do have several candidates, not just the 7 you mentioned, Council Chair. We have several other candidates that apply as well. So.
Okay,
Councilwoman, and I could comment on that.
Like the mayor said, I want to reiterate, this is a one-year contract. And our police department is worth $1 million a year, guys. They really are.
Also, as our director mentioned, we took out some from one area, as she mentioned, the dates. We are gonna recover that from what she talked about. And also, again, this is only for 1 year. And it's, we all know here how many times we've talked about this for the past few years with the overtime just being an increased overtime. And that's what really hurt us the most, is the excessive amount of overtime that was used by some. And so we are gonna cut a lot of that stuff off when we get more officers on the road.
Council Chair, I'm sorry, next, and then Councilman Constant, and you'll be after that. I can tell you personally, I'm in full support of this. You want to get officers, I mean, we could talk pensions, we could talk healthcare, these are all important, but at the end of the day, most young officers applying for jobs, if everybody else is paying, I've seen it myself in the newspapers, 62, 65, 56,000, 55,000, and so on and so on and so on. Detroit was paying, if I'm not mistaken, 60 plus or 58, somewhere around there, almost 60,000. You're not going to be able to attract any of the new officers or the veteran officers to come in here. I do understand some of the concerns about, pensions, et cetera, but let me tell you something. This affects your property values also, because if you don't have enough officers in the city patrolling and keeping us safe, you're gonna see your property values go down. I know that's a big statement to make, but that's facts. So we have to get enough officers, and I'd be the first one to say, as a resident, I'd be willing to pay more taxes if that's what it's gonna cost to make sure there's enough officers to keep my family safe. So 60,000 is not a lot of money. They've been paid 40,000 for years and years and years. And previous to that, 32,000. That is absolutely ridiculous, and it's impossible to attract people to come into our city. We should all fully support it, and whatever it takes, we'll move this thing forward. Councilman Johnson and Councilman Bridges.
Thank you, Council Chair. 2 points. Number one, this was collectively bargained. The Police Officers Association approved it. We would do an actuarial report before it's approved. It would be a waste of money. Number one. Number two, it's going to cost more, but with inflation being high, the actual net cost, I mean, someone can eyeball it. And number three, an actuarial report for this is going to cost at least $10,000. So we get an actuarial report. This is going to cost a lot more money. But then what do? Then we vote it down? No, I don't think so. That's not what I'm hearing saying. So possibly the comptroller or some people on the pension board can compute, let us eyeball what it'll cost us additionally. Like I said, or our comptroller or that office, but to not approve it's to do an actuarial report that will cost more money. It's not going to change the outcome.
Thank you, Council Chair. This is like a tug of war, right? We're stuck on each side. Is this gonna, can the city afford this? But could the city also afford to only pay police officers $40,000 a year? I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody wants to come to Dearborn Heights. One, because of, there's been a lot of things out about the police department, and people are watching us. I think the chief got up here and said it. And, and I think almost every single person in this room, and I'm going to name them: Sue, Rachel, definitely Angie, and my favorite redhead. There's, a lot of residents that are sitting in here today who have been fighting, saying we want more police officers. Well, you're not going to get more police officers at $40,000 when you can go down the street to Westline and make it at $62,000. Plain and simple. If I'm a police officer today and I'm risking my life on the line, one, I don't want to come to Dearborn Heights because how controversial it's been. And number two, I don't want to come to Dearborn Heights because $40,000. I'll go to Dearborn or I'll go to Westland. Very easy. But we need to be a welcoming city. In order to do so, we must pay our police officers. Now, I get the whole pension thing that's going on. I mean, look, if we can't afford to pay somebody's pension or pay somebody's health care for the rest of their lives, we have to understand that these are tough decisions that we're going to have to make. And I don't want to make that decision. My brother knows a police officer. My brother-in-law's a police officer. My father worked for the UAW for 30 years. And if my father lost his pension or health insurance, he'd be very, very upset. Mm-hmm. But I think this is moving forward. I think the norm has become, with this younger generation, me being myself, I'm going to take a job to be able to raise my family with today's inflation rates.
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna work. Am I gonna go work for Westland? It's gonna offer me $62,000, no health or health insurance up until I retire. Or am I gonna come to Dearborn Heights and make $40,000 and struggle for the next 30 years, potentially so that I can have a retirement? I mean, to me, the decision that I'm gonna make, I'm gonna take the $62,000 and I'll worry about my health insurance when I get older. Maybe I'll find a job at Home Depot or something that's gonna offer me health insurance. That's gonna be a little easy. Or maybe I'll come back and work for the city. But ultimately, right now, in today's decision, it's very tough. I heard what the gentleman spoke. I've heard from the residents that called me. I've heard what two of my colleagues here stated. But I also know that we have officers, 53 of men and women that are working in the police department that are making $40,000 a year starting pay. It's not competitive. It's not fair. And this is affecting people's livelihood. You want to put your child in daycare? Guess what? That officer in Dearborn Heights can't do that. They don't have that luxury. And so to me, I think this is a tentative agreement amongst the administration, a tentative agreement across the police officers union. And look, they agreed to this. I'm sure that, back and forth are taken away. But I'm so tired of hearing from dispatch that we don't have enough officers in the street or we can't get there because we don't have officers, because officers don't want to come here. So that's where I stand on this.
I'll have Councilman Wenzel with second that. That's it. Okay, Councilman Wenzel and Councilman.
I just want to reiterate, this is a long-term deal. I mean, we don't know if this, 5 years from now, that this contract, we're offering them $20,000 raise to $60,000. It's a 1-year contract. Why can't we give them $10,000 this year, and the next year's contract, give them another $10,000 and work on their retirement plan?
I just want to answer to that. I want to answer to that.
No, we have to look, as city councilmen, we can't look at today. We do, but we have to look for the future of the city. We do not know if 5 years from now, if this deal, which I hope not, because this is a great deal, and they agreed on it. Who wouldn't agree on a 50% raise? And they say, oh, they agreed on it, but it's a no-brainer. If I was there, I'd definitely go yes. But we don't know if this is going to be something that's going to be a big financial burden on our city in 5 years from now, because we might have half our police force retire in the next 5 years. I just want to respond to that. So anyway, I want our treasurer to speak out. Before we do
Guys, I just want you to know, guys, I thought of this, and I asked myself that question today when I was taking a shower. I said, what if we can't afford this? But guess what? In 5 years, we're going to have to at least be at 60,000. In 2 years, we're going to have to be at 60,000. And guess what? So I understand. I understand the whole pension thing that's going on. I don't. All I can tell you is in 5 years, you're going to be at the same spot where you're at today. So we're technically, all we're doing is going to be delaying the future of growth. Look, inflation is up. Inflation's up 43%. I do mortgages. Interest rates are 9%. An average person that wants to buy a $250,000 house in Dearborn Heights today needs to make a mortgage payment of $2,900 a month, including taxes and insurance. A Dearborn Heights police officer cannot live in Dearborn Heights in order to do so. And look, again, this is a tug of war. Can the city afford it? Can we not?
Point of order, let's vote.
So just quickly, I want to make something clear. The treasurer is going to get a chance to speak. Okay, but I want to make something clear. We did not give a 50% raise. We just made them whole. They were way underpaid. So I'm not saying in general. I don't want people to get the wrong impression. These are not people that were paid what they should have been paid based on what the market pricing is nowadays. Okay, that's not the way it is. It's not a super popular thing to become a police officer nowadays with a lot of social media comments and media comments, what have you. So we're just making them at what normal pay is in today's society. So if we want to attract the best of the best, look, in my opinion, it's still too low. But that's my personal opinion. I agree. So if we want to attract the best, we got to be even better than 60. And then you know what? If we have to figure out a way, cut something out of the budget to make this thing work, we got to make this thing work. Madam Treasurer, you have a comment? Madam Treasurer, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I cannot. I have to wait to be unmuted. Thank you. So, first of all, I want to say, I don't believe anyone on the Zoom, in our community, wherever, doesn't support our first responders, our police and firefighters. Okay? We can all agree that competitive wages are very important. We are aware that cities like Dearborn and Westland are coming in much higher, but also you cannot compare their finances to ours because that's apples to oranges. So let's be realistic there. In addition, I know this is a one-year contract, okay, and it would have to be renegotiated on July 1st, 2024. But I think you have to talk about your fiduciary responsibilities and say what is not only the short-term impact, but yes, there's going to be a long-term impact on the pension system and OPEB. Now, what concerns me is that yes, I am the treasurer and I'm responsible for cash flow and know what that looks like. You hear from me all the time, right? But I also sit on the Act 345 Commission as a trustee. What alarms me a little bit is that no one spoke to the pension attorney. And I think that would have been a great starting place when we're having this conversation. Because the other thing is that was mentioned, and I agree with this, this is going to be something, you do this for one, you're going to have a lateral movement starting, okay? So you're going to have to take that into consideration. We can all agree that they need something to be competitive, and we all support them on that front. But let's talk about actuarial report. Yes, it costs you money, but you're talking about what is your investment on your future being able to remain solvent? What is that worth? And to answer your question, I was a council member for 9 years. And before contracts were voted on by the council, we did have an actuarial report. We did have a study session to discuss it. We have the council members' questions answered and what the impact looks like. And it really depends on the content of what you're approving. So I think that's really important. One thing I want to tell you briefly, your assumption for Act 345, which your millage is currently at 9 mils, and most likely this impact is going to have you increase it, or you will need to, which means you're increasing taxes to the residents. We need to be really transparent here. But your current assumption is 5%. Okay, now think about what this is going to look like. I'm just saying. And again, think about that you're going to have to renegotiate in a year. And are you going to go down or are you going to increase?
Okay.
Which way are you going? So that is my concerns. And again, it's not required, but it's recommended for your consideration. And I hope you will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So a motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Constant. Yes.
I know we're making a vote on this. I think this is also very important to our community and to us. I just want to let Margaret know that, kind of like the treasurer said, this is going to be a lateral movement.
May I add one more piece of information?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Our pension for our public sector employees has been healthy enough to issue a 13th check. So instead of just getting one check per month for 12 months, it's part of the pension. When we are funded in a healthy enough way, and we can afford to do it, we give a 13th check to our retirees. Okay? So we've been doing that for the last few years. So if there is an increase in that cost, then part of the pension rules are that maybe we don't issue the 13th check. So all is not lost. Okay? There's more information to come, yes. But this is a frame deal so that we can, again, thoughtfully, proactively figure out what our retirement needs to look like for our public safety going forward.
Okay, thank you. I just want to add on, look, I'm no secret, huge supporter for our first responders, love our police, love our fire, but I'm a huge supporter of our fire department. Margaret, I'm a huge supporter of our fire department. And like she said, this is going to be a lateral movement. And I hope that the aspiration for the fire department is just as victorious into finding a tentative agreement. And seeing that the men and women that put their life out on the line, because I know we don't have a tentative agreement with them right now. But I really hope to God that we find common ground so that we can have that kind of agreement, and we're just as supportive to our fire department.
We're bargaining with them, and you may recall just a few months ago, we made a market adjustment with dispatch. We gave a very large raise to dispatch, same kind of wage suppression issue. We're currently bargaining with TPOEM. We also have a wage suppression issue with that group. Within the confines of the resources we have, we're trying to address all of these things. So going forward, we aren't looking at 10, 18, 12% increases. Anything that we have going forward is 1%, maybe 2% for these groups. So again, we're trying to adjust to where we are so that we can be competitive and hire and staff. The key thing we need to do for the success of this organization is we need to be able to staff.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and put this to a vote.
So Chair, I ask you to give me permission.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just want for the record. Yes, I did fight to keep the dispatch in Dearborn in Dearborn Heights when they wanted to move it to Dearborn Heights. They did fight to establish. They wanted to move it to Dearborn, but I fought to keep it in Dearborn Heights so we preserve the jobs and the safety of our people. And I did fight to establish the trust, I believe 105, to cover the $170 million approximately we have liability for the after retirement liabilities. I fought for that and we established it with Treasurer Lisa Hicks and Ray and Tom. I'm not against the police officers, but it is wise on our part financially to know what we are doing, to vote on something we might regret later on. It doesn't hurt if we ask for actual report and we vote on it as an emergency or a special meeting next Tuesday or the next meeting. This is a big decision. It involves millions of dollars and it is not just today, it's into the future. And it is our responsibility to know what we voted.
Okay. Controller had a comment. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, thank you. I do have one comment. I wanted to just state that our revenue for the city right now is at 60 million. And this is going to cost us 4 million. Okay, that's less than 8%, and that's your police officers. And once you are wrapped up where you have enough, your overtime is going to go down. You're going to be able to get revenue back just by having them out there selling tickets, not selling, but giving out tickets. And one last thing I wanted to say, it was not a 50% increase. It was a 22% increase. That's
40 to 60?
46,000 to 60. And it was a 22% increase.
So at a meeting, it's 40 to 60.
Yeah.
Objection, any comments or anything about it?
Yeah, don't say nothing about the. He said a number of guys. Let's move on. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put this to a vote.
Finally, we have negotiations with these people. And if we don't have a contract with them, we're not going to have any police officers.
Can I ask one question? Okay, this will be the last question.
You are in charge of our books. You alongside Plant Moran.
Yes.
You've been looking at our books day in and day out.
Yes.
On the record, on September 26th, Tuesday, September 26th at 7:41 p.m. with 46 seconds on the clock. Can you tell us that this is not going to affect us?
Oh, it's going to affect you. Obviously, it's always going to affect you when you're spending money, but you have to find it from somewhere else. That's what we're doing. We're pulling it from overtime. We're pulling it from trying to get people to give up some of their time. It's going to, I will find the money. It's not going to bankrupt us if that's what you're asking. No.
So you said it. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yes, this will not bankrupt us.
Okay, let's go ahead and take this to a vote. All in favor, please state aye. 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 Any opposed?
Yes.
No.
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 Council Chair.
Can you please take roll? I'm gonna have her take roll call. But, Madam Clerk.
Dave Abdallah,
Yes.
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Moby Drum,
Yes.
Zuhair Abdallah,
No.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
and Tom Hunter.
Council Chair, I'm voting no because we're voting yes. The council members are voting yes on this raise for our police officers, which they deserve 100%.
On a supposed contract.
Yes, yeah, but they're voting on something they don't know the long-term effects on. I want to vote yes on this raise is to $60,000 and more next year if we can afford it.
Okay,
I want to vote. I'm voting no because I don't know the long-term effects on this.
okay, so vote is no. 4-2, motion carried. Item 9C. Thank you, Director.
Are we gonna get an action word or no?
No, at this particular point, no, unless somebody makes some motion, separate motion, and like either this council meeting or different council. Okay. Item 9C.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council authorize the purchase of 120 PCs from V-Link for patron and staff use at both city libraries for a cost not to exceed $31,440. In addition, authorize the mayor, comptroller, or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from account number 738-738-808 as part of a grant previously authorized by council as outlined in 9C.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Baydun. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on our agenda is item 9D, Police Support Services Director Vanderplow.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman?
I'd like to make the motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase of one holographic, high secure, or redesigned ID card printer for a cost not to exceed $8,424 to replace the current non-functional ID card printer at the Justice Center. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the warrant and any future warrants, and authorize the treasurer to issue payments from the JAG, a grant fund. So it's coming from a grant. 101-300-981-056, and also to inform the police department when funds are received from the county as outlined in 9D.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilwoman Breyer and seconded by Councilman Abdul-Haq. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
are all the funds coming, the $8,424, they come all out of the JAG?
That's what it said. Is that correct?
And in
Yeah.
detail, yes.
I'm sorry?
It's in
Yes,
our
that's
packet.
correct. Yeah, correct.
All right, thank you.
Yes, okay. So all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9E, Police Support Services Director Vanderplow.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase of 10 Nikon Z50 mirrorless digital cameras, bags, SIM cards, cases, and tripods for a total cost not to exceed $14,134.57. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the warrant and any future warrants, and authorize the treasurer to issue payments from the JAG Grant Fund 101-300-981-056, and also to inform the police department when funds are received from the county as outlined in 9E.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by, was that Councilman Abdul-Haq or Councilwoman Breyer? Who did the second? I could tell. Sorry?
Give it to Zubair.
Okay. Alright, so, that's given to Councilman Abdul-Haq. Any discussion on that? I just want to make a quick statement to the directors. I thank you for going after more and more grants because, those in the audience, they're getting basically money from the federal government instead of out of our own pockets. So this is good stuff. Thank you.
Chair, just on an echo that, what, these guys have gotten so many grants for the city, including the cameras, a lot of the stuff that was neglected in the past. I do want to commend both directors and our chief that they have gotten a lot of money, a lot of grants, a lot of equipment. And, on top of it, we have the Department of Justice that just a few weeks back, they sent some of our officers trainings in Colorado for community policing. So, and all the leadership of both directors and the chief. So I know that stuff is not being talked about, but there's a lot of great things that they're doing at the police station, including the Department of Justice. They're doing a lot of changes, and these guys are here. And I want everybody to know that we asked them to come, and typically they would charge us approximately $500 an hour per person to come and do what they're doing right now. And you know what? They're paying for it, and they're actually giving us grants to do certain things. So I do want to commend our leadership, both Director Swoop, Director Vanderplow, and Chief Hartz for doing an amazing job and trying to transition our police department to a world-class police department.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, any other discussions on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is ordinances and resolutions. 7A, anyone?
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the resolution regarding the liquor license held by the city for Warren Valley Golf Course, appointing Mayor Bazzi and Chief of Staff Hernandez as authorized signatories for all documents related to the approval of removal of Oneida Golf Services as co-licensee on the Michigan liquor license for the Warren Valley Golf Course. In addition, instruct the city clerk to notify the Michigan Liquor Control Commission of these appointments as required by law as outlined in 13A.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Constant and seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I don't understand why we're specifying two people only to make all authorized signatures on any document that's related to this in the future. Shouldn't the documents come before city council and then we say we approve it, we approve the mayor or the chief of staff to sign these documents? Because what does this mean? What documents are they talking about? It doesn't say anywhere in here what kind of documents we're okaying them to sign.
Okay, the only thing I want to clarify, Councilman, is this is just in regards to the liquor license.
Yes.
So this is not,
License, yeah.
so it's not profits hypothetically from liquor, Warren Valley Golf Course, this or that. It is specifically getting the liquor license for Warren Valley Golf Course. Somebody from this side spoke, I don't know who it was. That you, Roger?
Well, yeah, I'd say it's requirements. We've looked through all the paperwork. It's what the licensing commission requires. And you got to get a nine. The nine has been working with us. They're off the contract. This is a procedural matter. Anything else?
Council Chair.
With substance. Nothing with substance. Ultimately, procedure requirements that they require.
Council Chair.
And also, I'm sorry, and also on top of it, you guys have seen the same thing when we put Oneida on several years ago. And I think it was 2019. So it's the same process. We need to remove them. In order to do that, we have to put this resolution in place.
Council Chair.
Okay, Councilman.
I actually spoke with the attorney that's working on this, and he explained to me and walked me through it. You have to remove Oneida, and then you can add whomever we're adding. So I just want you to know that I actually did, I made the research and I made the phone calls. You have to remove Oneida before you can do it. So before you can open it up, it's like an escrow.
So this is strictly only for removing Oneida from the liquor license.
So read the resolution.
Well, I did, but I'm not, that's why we have a guy over there. So.
Well, that's why you put on the agenda.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's why you put on the agenda, as the attorney looked at it.
Okay. Any other discussions on this?
Council Chair, I just want to make it clear, this is only for removal of Oneida from, it's not issuing a new or applying for a new liquor license?
No, license out in escrow. So,
Okay.
and it was an escrow. So this is just the procedural, like I said, procedural part, not the substantive part.
So,
what it's
Roger, is this something that we have a license, and it's in, like you said, it's in escrow, and we're just going to keep it and then put someone else on it in the future, in the near future?
No, we
Look
took
along with the city?
we take it out of escrow, but to do certain things, there was stuff done before not done before I came on board. And then we started, that's why we brought up the council in to help us to negotiate with the liquor license commission to make sure this is fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and put this to a vote. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Next item on our agenda is item 13A, business license for chair. Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council renew the business license for Randy's Robindale Bar at 25122 Warren as outlined in 13A.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydun, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Okay, well, just quickly, I heard they got great fish sandwiches that I've not tried, so.
They got tuna fish.
They have tuna?
Tuna and fish.
That's what I heard. I've tried it. I keep forgetting to try it, so maybe I'll remember now. Council Chair?
Just a little bit about Randy's. That was the spot right after,
Yeah, I know the place. I just didn't try the fish sandwich, so try it out. All right, let's go ahead and take it to a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on our agenda is comments from council members. Council Chair, Councilman? Well, school is back. I want to thank our police officers. I saw, most recently, driving through the neighborhood, driving through Riverside. I believe I was a little kind of thrown off. Seeing some cops at Riverside, it kind of threw me off, but I was like, whoa, am I getting pulled over? But luckily I was only doing 35 in a school zone, so. Hold on. Beach day is 35. 25. Well, maybe we need something to like. Anyhow, like I said, you wanna give it away? But really, guys, look, I know today we made a decision to make a vote. A lot of you guys in here, all of you guys are all my friends, and we had to make a tough decision. And I was really stuck between, even the last second, I didn't know what word was going to come out of my mouth. Really, my mind was saying something, my heart was feeling something, my lips said something. So I want you to know that I genuinely appreciate every single one of you guys, and continue to fight the good fight. Congratulations to Mr. Abdul Haq. I'm going to tell you to please let's do what's best to moving our city forward. And I think ultimately, there's been some chatter. Oh my God, if Mr. Abdul Haq gets on, including myself. But I hope that that chatter goes away and you can prove everybody wrong, and you just want to do the right things for the city. So scary. It can be scary. So just a quick comment. I know I spoke in regards to all the candidates. I wish you guys all the best. I really honestly and truly like every candidate. This was a very difficult decision. But a lot of candidates got to understand. You can only pick one. It's hard. And I took completely out of the equation who I like or don't like or friends with, whatever. Because honestly, the decision cannot be based on that. It's got to be based on who I felt would have the most experience to be able to serve for such a short time period. And the other big criteria was they had to be on the ballot in my eyes. So that was the main criteria that I used amongst the other criteria. But at this particular point, I want to take just a moment of silence for just 10 seconds. In a second, we'll go there. First of all, I want to commend the Dearborn Police Department for a very good job as far as the investigation is concerned. Unfortunately, about a week back, my cousin's son, also somebody I've done business with, also somebody that I know, Mr. Hassan Salami, his family lives in Dearborn Heights, unfortunately I'll just say, I don't care, murdered, during a armed robbery. And a very unfortunate, very sad time for the whole family, including, of course, myself. At the last council meeting, I came in half hour late, didn't even know it. My mind was just not there. 29 years old. I hope he gets his justice, and I hope the three, well, I'll leave it blank, that did it, they get their justice too, because it's a very, very sad situation for the family. Longtime business people in the city of Dearborn, Dearborn Heights residents. You don't want to see the family in the situation they were in. For a mother to bury her son at 29 years old, a very, very sad situation. And honestly, in the same week, I lost another cousin. So God rest her soul too. But this was hard for somebody to lose their life like that. So for Mr. Hassan Salami, I would say just a moment of silence, please. 10 seconds. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other comments from council members?
Council Chair?
Councilman?
Thank you, Council Chair. This past Saturday, me and my family had the pleasure of attending the outdoor family movie night at Swampville Park, put on by our Parks and Recreation Department. Had a fantastic turnout. It was a really good time, really good movie. It's got a little bit cold. Everyone's wrapped up in their blankets. It's pretty cool to see all the families out there and huddling up with each other. But the District 7 Dance Club, the concession profits from the concession stand, it was a very, very good evening. And next time they have one of these, I hope we have even more people attend. And there's a lot of things coming up especially with our senior centers coming in the near future. And I hope our Parks and Rec director, Lauren Sell, is on, so she can talk about things coming up real soon. And I want to congratulate our police department in getting their raise. This is something I'm 100% for the raise. Even more next year, probably, or a couple of years after that, as they deserve it, the stuff that they put through, and all of our first responders. And let's hope that we do the same for our fire department, full raises, and our TPOM personnel. Let's give them the huge raises that they deserve. Let's go right across the board with this. And I was just wondering, Council Professor there, is Ms. Smith here? No? Comptroller, HR Director? I was wondering when this raise takes effect. How soon can our officers expect to get this on their paycheck? Does anybody know?
It says July 1st
Retroactive.
next year,
July 1st?
the fiscal year.
The start of the next fiscal year, July 1st. That's when this takes effect.
This July.
It was
Retroactive.
retroactive. Are they gonna get a retroactive pay?
Yes.
Are they? Okay. Well, congratulations, guys and girls. That's a very good thing that you got. And I want to congratulate our candidates, especially Mr. Abdul Hawk here. All the candidates that are here, I talked to all of you, and I know you have the best intentions for the city of Dearborn Heights. Your input to me personally has meant a lot. It's made me think a lot about issues in the city. And thank you all for taking time out and dressing up real nice and come to the meeting. And one other thing on this kind of a sad note, this October 14th will be the 1-year anniversary of the death of Joey Smith, who was killed on his bicycle on the corner of Hardy in Annapolis. Together with his mother and Margaret King, they're planning a memorial service on that intersection. I spoke with the fire and police department, and we were given advice maybe we should have it at the Richard A. Young Center, but after speaking with the family, they're dead set, and the event, the memorial, is going to take place on Saturday, October 14th in the evening. Specific time will be coming up, but we secured the property at Hardy's school, so we won't have to be in the intersection itself. The whole grass.
Saturday, October 14th, at what time?
Well, we're not 100% sure. Probably starting about 9 o'clock ish, something like that, because he was killed around 10 o'clock.
Around 9 p.m. You said?
Yeah. So we'll come up with the exact time to meet there and the details on it. And I want to thank Chief Broke from the fire department and our police department. Officer Swope, who I've had communications with, and I will have some future communications with him on this issue. But this is a very worthwhile event. It's for a tragedy, and let's keep fighting for the school safety and crossings and safety for all of our residents throughout the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other council members? No, she was going to do announcements, so it's later. So go ahead.
Okay, first, I want to thank my colleagues, City Council, for giving me confidence in the trust that you appointed me for a third time treasurer, City Council, City Council. That means a lot to me, and I hope I will prove with everybody that I will do whatever it takes, even if I make a very hard decision which is good for the city and for the residents and for our employees of the city. That's my priority. That's my goal. And I'm not here to please anybody. I'm here just to do what is right and what is within the borders of the charter. Simple. I want to share with everybody in the city during COVID, my wife had 100% blockage in her artery. If it wasn't for our fire department, taking her from our doorsteps to the operation room, she would have died. That happened in less than 5 minutes between 354 Rosemary and Garden City. So anybody who doubt that I love my fire department, police department, and I want to give them the best I can within the borders of our fiscal capability will be wrong and doesn't know. It is our responsibility to make sure that the money we spend is spent right. It's spent to benefit the public, the resident of the city, and to spend wisely. And that's why I am going to ask to suspend the rules, to put a motion to ask for actual report about the contract of the police department, which we just approved. At least we know for the future what we have on our hands.
Okay. Let's just see first of all if there's any other council member comments, not on this, in general for themselves. Okay, hearing none. So go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. So you go ahead. You want to make the motion? See if we get a second, or we'll go ahead and take it to discussion and vote. So first one is to suspend the rules.
I will make a motion to suspend the rules.
Support. Motion made to suspend the rules by Councilman Abdul Haq, seconded by Councilman Baidoon. Any discussion on that? Council Chair, Councilman?
So we're making a motion to do an actuarial to ask them.
This one is because in order to have a motion added that is not on the agenda,
Right,
and has not been published, you have to suspend the rules and make the motion. Once it's if it passes, then it would have to be another motion for the actuarial report.
so that's what we're
Right now.
possibly in.
Correct. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you go, you're gonna suspend the rules, just request it.
Well, so the only X factor, and I thought about it, this has to be addressed. If we request one, so let's just pick a number, whether it's $1, $2 million, or 80 billion. We've already approved the contract. It wouldn't make any difference. So the only issue would be if this is going to be added would be whether it would be dependent, whether the contract would be dependent on what you find out in that, because we've already approved the contract. So when we find out in this report, I don't say it's useless, but the contract's already approved.
Council Chair, we spend so much money on the contract leases and things. I think this is a very big, small fraction of the cost.
Council Chair.
Okay. So let's talk about the, and I apologize because I know we're going to go into a long discussion. So let's go on suspending the rules first, and then you can make this motion and we'll go ahead and discuss it from there. So motion made by Councilman Abdul Haq, seconded by Councilman Baidoon to suspend the rules. Any other discussions on that?
Council Chair.
Yes.
Well,
on the report.
But yeah, I understand, but just suspend the rules to add, just reiterate, just heard the mayor say, he could get an actual report. I heard you say correctly, we voted it in, it's done, it's not gonna make any difference except that, I heard the comptroller say it'll cost us about an additional $4 billion.
Oh, not for the report, okay.
For the contract.
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and vote on suspending the rules specifically only. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Steve Abdallah,
No.
Well, we should have with our further discussion, Council Chair. We had a
I'm sorry?
discussion before we voted. You said, let's wait.
We're voting just to suspend
This
the
is just
rules.
to suspend the rules.
I know, but a motion was made and then you had to discuss it.
We did. There was no
No, and I
additional
said
comments.
something,
We'll hold off on the vote, Madam Clerk. Go ahead, you might have another comment.
the reason, the contract was passed, but we've got another contract with them next year, 1 year from now. This would be instrumental, very instrumental in dealing with them next year. Say, oh, you know what, by the way, we got ton more money. We can give them more money next year. Or whoa. We got this actuary and you got what you got right now and we're not gonna take that away from you, but any further thing we have to think about. The actuary is very important for this contract and are dealing with that because just 1 year from now.
Okay, let's have no further discussion on the actual report at this point. Right now, just on suspend the rules. So let's go ahead and take that to a vote. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Dave Abdallah,
No.
Robert Constant,
No,
Moby Dick,
Yes.
Zahir Abdallah,
Yes.
Nancy Breyer,
No,
and Tom Nixon. That's gonna be.
It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
Okay, motion failed. Keep in mind, council members, you can also, if this is important, you bring it as a resolution or just at the next council meeting. And on the agenda. Okay. Any announcements from council members and administration?
Yes.
Councilwoman, go ahead.
Tomorrow night at 6 p.m., we have the Ecorse Creek meeting, if anyone would care to attend. But even more importantly, on Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we will have, sponsored by the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association, a candidate forum. This is for the November election and the 5 candidates that are running for 3 positions. If you come, you will be able to ask questions. There will also be questions provided. So if you want more information on these people, please make it your business to show up tomorrow or Thursday night, 6:30. 28th.
The Westwood.
At Westwood Community School District, the admin building. It's on Beach Daily, 3335 South Beach Daily.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank Mike Blackburn for coming in on Saturday. We had a several-year reunion for the graduates of Annapolis High School at Swapper Park. And Mike was good enough. There was an event later on that evening, the movie night. Come in early and unlock the bathroom, so everyone was there could use it. So thank you, Mike Black.
I thought you were saying he graduated with you. I was gonna say, whoa.
Graduated from Harvard.
Any other announcements from administration? Clerk, go first. Oh, clerk, go ahead.
Lindsay, City Clerk, Dearborn Heights. I'm here with some election news. We have a general city election, November 7th, 2023. And our office, as well as our election pitch crew, have been busy preparing the absentee ballots for mailing on this Thursday. They'll be taken over to the Dearborn Post Office for mailing, and we'll have our booths up and there'll be ballots will be available on Thursday. Ballot boxes will be open. They'll return to 80 ballot boxes located here in the city, at the Justice Center, our newest one, and at the JFK Library. And then just a reminder to our candidates to review your signing ordinances, the ordinance for the city, and we signs go up 30 days before the election.
30 or 45?
30.
October 7th to November 7th?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nancy knows the 40%. And follow the instructions. I think the biggest one, the biggest violation is make sure it's not on the property between the sidewalk and the street. Because that doesn't obscure it's an obstruction to the drivers. And then anyone looking to join our team, we are always looking for election inspectors. Step by our office, give us a call at 713-439.
I think Council
The council and chair wants to join the team.
All the guys, first of all, congratulations to all the candidates, that are in the elections, you know, and that civic duty is just so honorable, so hats off to all of you guys, but let's hope we don't get on the news by the stealing of signs, whether it's yourselves or any of your supporters. You know, the last thing we need in Dearborn Heights to have that on the news as other cities have had, so please, no stealing signs, respect the United States Constitution. If somebody wants to run, whether you like them, don't like them, want to vote for them, don't want to vote for them, like stealing signs, come on, it's so petty and childish. Let's not do that. Mary, you have something you want to say?
Yeah, a couple of things. At the police station, they had a couple of weeks back an auto show. So it was Officer Serdo. Actually, I wanted to. That was his first annual that he organized, and with the help of several officers, just to build, morale, camaraderie, and just to bring the community together. They had the first annual auto show at the police station parking lot in the front. It was very successful, so I want to commend Officer Serdo for doing a good job. Showed great leadership. Also, from this morning's meeting with the Wayne County, just to give you an update for the Ecorse Creek. So there's been some chatter. Just want to make sure the residents are, get the right information. We have right now 2 communities went out for bid from Wayne County since they're in charge of the Ecorse Creek. So Lincoln Park and Ecorse, City of Ecorse, they're the first, they're downstream. So they're looking at them first. Obviously they're going to work downstream. You can't work upstream, fix the issue, then everything's going to have a bigger flow going downstream. It's going to cause bigger problems. So they're starting downstream of the Ecorse Creek. So they started with both communities, the Ecorse City and Lincoln Park. They're going out for bid currently to clean those 2 areas. They did send a mailer to Dearborn Heights residents who are affected by the Ecorse Creek, who are actually on the Ecorse Creek affected. What I mean by that is they're actually on the Ecorse Creek, and they're the residents who will actually have to work with the county so they can get on their property to get to the Ecorse Creek to clean up. So the residents of Dearborn Heights who are affected did get a notice. The county will be meeting with the individuals on one-on-one first, and they will be hosting also a town hall with all the residents to tell them like exactly what they're doing. And that's not going to be this year. It will be sometime late spring next year is when Dearborn Heights will have our turn. So as of right now, it's only Lincoln Park and Ecorse City. And hopefully by mid to late April next year, the county will be meeting a lot of residents one-on-one who they have to go into on their property to get to the creek, and they'll let us know when they'll post the town hall meetings so they can get everybody involved. Anybody that is affected by the creek, they can come to the meeting. And if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to my office. As of right now, that's what was the latest as of this morning, and that's the most accurate information. I want to make sure residents are aware because there's been a lot of misinformation out there regarding the cleanup.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Our library director, McCaffrey, go ahead.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just wanted to talk about a couple of items. First off, I want to thank all the businesses and organizations that supported our open house at Carolyn County Library. Thank you, Antonio's, Moods of Delight, Creative Style Salon, Manal Beauty Salon, Mango Languages, Matt Nogden, Delwara, Overdrive, Phoenix Medical Equipment, Sunhot Bakery, Starbucks, Texas Roadhouse, and Dogpool. Also, thank you, Mayor Bobazi, Treasurer Lisa Hicks-Clay, Clerk Lynn Senia, Access, League of Women Voters, the Genealogical Society, DPW, Police Department, and Wayne County Wayne Health Mobile Clinic for your support and participation. Had a great deal of activity handed out over 40 land. So good work, everyone, for promoting literacy in your community. Also, Saturday, October 28th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Carolyn County Library, we'll be having our annual trunk or treat and spooky mini golf to help benefit Goodfellows. come join us as we hand out treats and play mini golf in the library with proceeds going to the Dearborn Heights Goodfellows. We are looking for home sponsors at 50 per home, and lots of trunks. So the program is free to the public. Any donations made or suggested. Ralphie the Christmas Ghost may be making an appearance, so come on out. Call 313-791-3804 phone number if you are interested. Finally, this Saturday, September 30th, from 7:30 to 9:30, Carroll County Library will be having an outdoor showing of the movie Elemental. The movie was shown on the patio. Chairs, elemental swag, and refreshments will be provided. Case for weather, the movie will be done inside. On the more somber note, switching gears a little bit, I would like to request a moment of silence for someone who passed last Sunday. Gentleman by the name of Anthony Residlo. He was on a police commission. He did a lot of volunteer work for the city. He helped run a lot of CERT meetings. And he did a lot of things, basically no charge. He wrote the history of Dearborn Heights, the 50th anniversary book. And he passed. So, silence, please. Thank you. Thank you, Director. Mike will also be at the Bedford Trunk or Treat. It's going to be at the Fire Department Open House. Handing out crafts. That's all for now. Thanks for your time. And thanks, Director. Good job. Yeah, that's super sure. Anybody else with administration have? Check. Yes.
You know, I failed to mention that me and my family were at the police station car show, and the kids loved it. They had some really cool setups there with these little bikes and cars you ride around, and several cars. And there's plenty of room for more cars, and the cars that were there were really nice. My little guy, he just loves the Corvettes and the hot rods and the big four-wheelers. But he was especially impressed with the giant towing rig that was there, over $1 million it cost, and they hoisted a big American flag up there. And my guy Caden, he just loves American flag. And he's seen that thing going up in the air. I was so impressed. And hats off to all those guys. I believe, was it JGC towing? Yeah, that's supplied. JPC? Or JT Towing, yeah. Okay, yeah, those guys, they brought in these big rigs, and it was very impressive, and they put on a really good show. Congratulations to everyone from the police department that was involved with that. You know, I know me and my family and everyone was having a great time. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead with before we go to public comments. I apologize. Director Jamal, you had a comment from administration? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Good afternoon. It's just an announcement. For the Equals Creek houses that some of the residents applied in in March 2021. We got the grant from FEMA, $3 million for 16 homes. They approved all the homes who applied, and they will be hearing from myself and my Community and Economic Development Department soon. The grant agreement will be on the City Council and the first meeting in October for their approval. And we will contact them. Please be patient. We will be contacting you. I have all your phone numbers. And if I can't reach you by phone, we will be knocking on the doors with our badges. For the ones who applied in October 2021, 25 homes, they all initially approved,
We are waiting for the final approval from the main office in Chicago. We will inform you soon. Hopefully, this will help the residents who cannot take it anymore until we find a solution for, hopefully, soon for the Ecorse Creek flood. This is not a solution for the flood. This is only a relief from the misery of the floods. We are working together on securing more funding from FEMA to mitigate the flooding of the Ecorse Creek, including the county. You have a great night, and please be patient. We just get the approval from FEMA for those 15 homes that we applied for in March of 2021. This is normal process between 18 and 24 months for approval. Congratulations for Dearborn Heights on those grants. And it only can cost the city 10% match. In that match, I am working diligently to try to secure from other grants, which is the CDBG Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief. Hopefully, we will be getting that. Thank you. Match. Thank you, Chair, and congratulations for a new council member, Mr. Zuhair Abdulhad. Thank you. Well known. Thank you. Thank we don't have Council Chair. Council Chair.
Yeah, we gotta get to it. I just want to tell Director Jamal what a great job this guy's doing. And believe me, if he calls you and you don't answer, he will come by your house.
Next is Director Ali B. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Yes, Council Chair, I just needed an announcement, to make an announcement that the gas company, Michigan or DTE, has asked us for assistance in trying to they're trying to contact citizens of the city of Dearborn Heights who currently have indoor gas meters. Apparently, we have approximately 878 or 880 indoor gas meters in the city of Dearborn Heights. Now, these things are in the process of being phased out because they're dangerous and they must be tested. So the gas company has been sending requests to these citizens. They will not share the list with us because it is confidential. But they asked us to for the city's support in telling our citizens that these are not fake requests to get access to their basements. They are actually mandated by the Michigan Public Service Commission. They have to be tested. It is a safety issue. I checked with our fire department and they agree. The indoor gas meters are a headache to everyone because you don't know where they're located, right? So they need to be tested by the gas company, and apparently a lot of people, especially our senior citizens, when they receive that request or claim from someone to say I'm from the gas company and I need access to your basement, they always think that it is a hoax or it's something that is not true. We just need to make that announcement. It is true, the gas company is required. In fact, they're saying that they have a certain time to do it, otherwise they will shut the gas off. So it is a need. We know about it, the city knows about it. In fact, we have the necessary forms available at City Hall if citizens wanted to pick them up. But if you do have an indoor gas meter, please allow the gas company access to test it for safety reasons.
Thank you.
From senior citizens, they still have much of their papers that come out. Can you give a phone number?
Yeah.
And they
You might call.
Mr. Dick, what I was saying for some senior citizens and others, you may still have somebody come up and maybe it's not a real person from the gas company. Is there a number that they can contact at the city to ask just in case they're not sure if a person is legit or not?
the best number is the mayor's office, and we have all the necessary paperwork. I printed it out. But unfortunately, I tried to obtain the list of the 880 over 78, but it was confidential. They won't share it. So they just asked us for assistance in telling our citizens, if you have an indoor gas meter and you receive that letter, please allow them access.
Okay, so Council Chair, that's a good point. My mom actually had an issue with another contractor that came through. She didn't know who it was. What we can do is we can talk to the regional manager of DTE to see if they can have obviously identifications like an ID or possibly a vehicle that is marked as DTE. So let's I guess we'll regroup with DTE management and see what we can do.
Maybe give out a phone number for the mayor's office.
Yes, they can call. Yes, 313-791-3490. So 791-3490. And what we'll do is, I know a lot of seniors, they don't have, computers. What we can do is we can post, something at the senior centers, once we get a hold of DPE management to see what protocol, that they can put in place to safeguard our senior citizens. And we can actually put that out there just to make sure that they know what's going on. Because it's a concern, winter's coming. And the DTE already said that if they can't get to the homes, they're going to shut their gas for safety reasons. And we definitely don't want that, especially winter's just around the corner.
Okay, thank you.
I also have the number for DTE if that's interested. It is on the paperwork, but the number to DTE directly to verify is 877-853-9434. So it's 877-853-9434. It is on the paperwork.
Thank you, Director.
As a good point, we will talk to DTE and see if we can get a true verification before access is granted. But it is a critical issue, especially for older citizens in older homes when they, when they have an indoor meeting.
Okay, thank you, Director. Next up is Director Tim Emery. Go ahead, please.
Ankrum.
I'm sorry, Director Bob Ankrum. I apologize.
You promoted number.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Ankrum here.
Sorry.
Oops, quite all right, David. Again, Bob Ankrum here. Good evening, folks. Just wanted to add a little bit to Director McCaffrey's comments regarding the passing of Anthony Rosillo. Anthony was a steadfast and long-term volunteer on our community emergency response team, the CERT team. Actually, he was in the very first class that I taught with that organization many years ago. I think he attended virtually every meeting and participated in every disaster exercise we coordinated. So again, Anthony was a great volunteer. He was a good friend, and he will be missed dearly. But my condolences to Kim's wife. But one thing I did want to pass along is that his funeral services will be this Thursday. 10, visitation will be at 10 o'clock at the, and help me with the pronunciation, St. Kettering Catholic Church, so we're on the drive. Yeah, so again, yeah, okay, thank you. That'll be from 10 to 11, and then there will be a mass from 11 to 12. Okay, so again, if anyone is available and interested, that's the time and location of the services. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other administrative announcements? Tim Emery, are you making an announcement as administration? School board, obviously, administration, right? No. Sorry, simple. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for the appointments to the reappointments to the TIFA board and for the appointment of Rachel to the TIFA board as a new member. She will do a great job for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That works.
Let's go home.
We're gonna go ahead and go to public comments. Seeing I don't see no other directors that director administration. So we'll go ahead and go to public comments. You will have 3 minutes. Please come on up. State your city, street, and name, please. All right. Before you start, listen. If you get yelled,
I have never yelled at you.
All right, ready?
I make it a point.
Ready?
Rose
3,
Street,
2.
Main Street, I don't need 2 minutes, Dearborn Heights. I want to have thank you on behalf of the Eden Senior Recreation Department. Have thank you for what you've done. I can only give you half of it because you only did half of what we wanted. But we're gonna get there. We've already got promises. People are looking into the rest. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're closer.
Sure.
Yeah, go.
It's gonna take me a bit.
Good evening, Hassan Saab, John Daly, Dearborn Heights. I got 2 things. One, I want to bring up the contractor issue about the cement. I just that video. And there was a police call. There was somebody that did call the police out of the residence about them dumping. And as for residents doing driveways or sidewalks, not in that area. It was actually 2 blocks east. I'm actually building a house on Gully. And the house you guys are talking about is nowhere near where they were fixing spring slabs. DPW has warned the state exact contract before not to dump any sewers again. Last time I thought that guy doing the slabs, he got a pat on the back. Nobody did nothing. You guys approved the contract extension. Second thing is I have is for the police department, for the directors. You know, I'm always up to stand for what's right, stand no matter the sides or the who or what or me. There was 5 officers that were written up of an incident that happened months ago. And I believe that the write-up that you guys did is just targeting certain officers. And that's wrong. I filed a FOIA and I expect that FOIA. And if I don't get that FOIA, I've challenged the police department before and I've challenged the chief before. I'm warning, I'm not scared to do it again. What you guys did to those officers in leadership and regular officers before was wrong. I want the video that I FOIA'd, and the mayor, everybody in the administration asks you do not delay the FOIA. And the police department not to delay the FOIA. Usually when I send a FOIA, I get a request back that you guys have received it. I have not received no emails back from you. And it's disappointing about what's going on with this specific incident. And if you'd like to comment on it, I'm willing to go into certain details on it. Whatever you want. If you want to pause 9 minutes, I'll come up, come on up. Pause my time.
No, I'm not gonna answer on any unknown. You can state what you want to state, and then the FOIA request, we can check on the FOIA request for you. But I'm not gonna have the officers discuss anything that's pending, any disciplinary issues or non-disciplinary issues that are confidential, and I'm not gonna violate the Powell Act.
And it's 3 minutes. I haven't been up for a minute. I'll come.
No, you're
No, you put 60 seconds.
No, okay, help you.
I'm holding 60
No,
seconds.
no, no. Get you ready. You got a minute and 18 seconds. I actually give you extra 4 seconds. But, Council Chair, I want to make something clear. Hang on 1 second, Council Chair. Look, this is your meeting. I understand. And if you give the permission for a director to skid up and say his part to back to the gentleman, that is your decision. Council, hold on.
No.
Please,
If it's a statute,
Roger,
it's a violation. I cannot.
Roger, point of order.
Okay, Mo, it's fine. It's fine, Mo.
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the council meeting. Roger, with respect. If he wants him to speak, he can speak, but Roger. I know, it's disrespectful, Roger, to be honest.
No, I was talking.
I know, while I was speaking to you.
I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not.
Honestly, you are right now, and actually you're.
No, you're disrespecting me.
I'm not. I'm gonna tell you it's point of order, and that, you need to go through the council chair when it comes to speaking.
I can talk to anyone I want to talk to.
No,
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. One at a time. You guys are all gonna talk over each other. I'm not council chair. I understand. I know. Under the circumstances, I'm the three circumstances. All right, go ahead and continue with your comments.
Officers have the right to defend themselves. Your policies that you're putting in place, I bought a 48 pack of whistles for you and some white gloves to give to the officers, have them turn in their weapons. If that's how you're gonna run the department as a world-class department, it's a shame. Because you wrote up certain officers that were just responding to assistance. And I would love for you guys to go retaliate against those officers. Like I've said it and I'll say it again. I'm not scared to spend my own money to challenge the department and the leadership in the department again. And it's a shame. We're promoting officers to come in our city. We're not promoting officers to run away from our city. And what happened with this incident, this has nothing to do with Arab American officers or white officers or any officers. It's the officers involved. It was 5 officers in particular. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's not the forum for this.
I'm sorry, it's not the form, but if this is the only way I'm gonna get my voice on, I'm gonna make it.
You do have, so far from what you said, you do have a right to say, go ahead.
And like I said, I requested a FOIA request in detail about it. And I have not even received a response from the police department, which I usually do, that you guys even received this. And I'm gonna put this right here. This is no threat, no promise to nobody. If I don't get my FOIA, I got skeletons on every one of those directors in the department. And I'm gonna start spelling them out. The whole department.
Not subject to any threat. That's a threat. To be clear, that's a threat.
What I've obtained from other departments is public information.
Stop. You're not making stop.
It's not a threat. What I have.
Stop.
I'm very clear, it's not a threat. It's not a threat.
Something that's
Public
threatening anybody. You can make a promise. I make a promise. You respond.
Okay. And
When I said to be threatening to held accountable to you, I'm not threatening them.
that is not a threat. Information is public information. I want the public order to stop.
You made the point, that's enough, thank you. All right, who else is next? Come on up.
Mr. Pesky, Cleary Street. Congratulations, Mr. Thank you to all the people, Grant. Nice job. I want to ask the police department a question. A while
I
back,
could talk through the chair, please.
yes, so a while back, the council approved body cameras for the police department, and I was wondering if there were any left, so that the ordinance officers can have the body cameras also. Or are you doing anything to make sure that our ordinance officers are protected the same way?
Okay, I mean, I don't want this thing to be back and forth, so finish all of your questions and allow them to answer the questions if they choose to, but go ahead.
Okay, and the other question I have is, correct me if I'm wrong, but was there a contracted employee hired recently?
I did the last part of that.
Contracted employee hired recently. Is the human resource director?
Okay, so again, make all your comments and questions, then we'll ask the person to come up and answer if they so choose. Because otherwise, I don't want this thing to be back and forth for 8, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, so.
I'm not arguing with you, Dick. That's it, my questions.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
That's it.
Is there anybody from the police department that would prefer to answer those? Okay.
What was the question to the police department? Body cams.
Body cameras?
Are there any available for the officers?
Wait, let first.
Yeah, the question was, good morning, excuse me, good evening. Body cameras available for ordinance. So the body cameras that were put into service for the police department paid for a federal grant for the police department. We are working with Director Dishroom about body cameras for ordinance. It's a fantastic idea. There's additional funding that we're going to have to do. We have extra. No, that's not kind of how that works, but we are working towards getting them those things to put it on, because there's policies, there's procedures, there's when they go and interact with people of the public, just like when we interact with the public, those that are victims or witnesses, we have to protect certain things. So there's a lot of things in play that need to be considered before you just slap a camera on a public official, so to speak. So that is being worked on with the director. We've made available all of our efforts, our work product to him while he's developing.
Okay. And the second question, you didn't answer that? Or like
I'm not sure what the question was. Can somebody restate it?
Contracting employee. I answered the guidance with the contracting employee hired recently. Where?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm out of this.
Is there any specific time or department you're talking
A
about
couple months back, I thought it was for engineering.
for engineering in the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, so anybody in the engineering, there's no engineering department, for engineering specifically, you say?
Specifically engineering.
Okay, Mayor, has there been anybody, is there any new contract employee in engineering hired by the city? Go ahead. Okay, it is looked at.
Okay, I think because I thought it was a while back. And the only reason I asked about the body cameras is because I feel the ordinance officers need the same protection as our police department, because they put up with a lot of crap out there.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Next up, city street name, please.
Rachel LeBlanc, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. So first, thank you guys, with the whole appointment process. I think you guys made a good choice. I hope to see some good things happen.
Hang on 1 second, 1 second.
Oh, you master the clock.
Stop saying, please.
You really need to practice.
There it is.
Not like Mr. Muscat.
There you go, ready, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. So thank you for all that. Regarding the actuary report for the contract, as a resident, I am asking you guys to get that done. However that needs to happen. Residents need to know how much money we are spending with our money that we're entrusting to you. We need to know how much that's going to cost, because we need to know that so that we can hold you guys accountable. So that when it comes time for elections, if we disagree with the choices that you made and the holes you dug, that we can change it up. That's how democracy works. We need to know the facts so that we can hold you accountable in elections. So I really request that you guys get that actuary report done, whether you requested the mayor to vote next time a resolution, however, get it done. If the mayor knows what he's doing, he would have already got it done, but it is what it is. Regarding the candidate forum this week, we will be streaming it. I spoke to Councilwoman Breyer. I'll be able to stream it on DBH 411. That stands for Dearborn Heights DBH, the 411 minute. It's on Facebook and YouTube. If you need to find out how to get that, we can help you get it. So if you're not able to attend in person, it will be streamed and recorded. Mo, you kind of included me with a group of people who, I would say, support the police. I want to just clarify, because sometimes I think things can be hard when we have a limited time. I am against toxic workplaces. I am against people not being paid a living wage. Every single one of our employees deserves a living wage. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of policing in America. I strongly believe in police reform. I strongly believe that there are things that we need to do to make policing work for America. How that works, how that looks, that's a whole other topic. But I just want to be clear that I'm for a safe, welcoming workplace for every single one of our employees, police, fire, whatever. I just wanted to make that clear.
I'm gonna stop that right there, just to let you know, my comment was, you were always fighting to make sure that we have more officers, we're paying them well.
It's the more officers part that maybe I was disagree with. Maybe not more officers, but better pay. I would agree with you there.
So that was my thing.
That was the part, more officers. I'm not necessarily a fan of more officers. Finally, I would encourage all of you, especially our corporate counsel, to maybe do a refresher on the First Amendment. When it comes to free speech, the public has the ability to comment on what we would like to comment on. And we can say that however we like within reason. A certain amount of things like the not shouting fire in the theater. If the city feels that something is untrue or slanderous, they have the option to pursue litigation. An individual who feels that they were slandered against has the opportunity to pursue litigation. You do not have the permission to just shut down speech.
Okay. Thank you.
I just I did my thesis on personally going back to Archibald Cox, who prosecuted Richard Nixon. I did 2 years when we graduated from Boston University Law School. I have my refresher.
Council Chair, just I wanted to something that Mr. White said about the actuary. The administration stated that they have a report. I'd like that report given to the city council for our next meeting, and then we can go as far as seeing if we need an actuary done. Mr. Mayor, I'm requesting that you should request that official request. The mayor stated he had a report that he could give us on the actuary, the financials impact of the contract.
I never said I had a report. I said, if you guys need a report, just request it.
That's all I'm requesting is officially what I said. Well,
Okay, so to make it clear, there's not a specific report that's done. He said if you'd like a report, an actuary report done,
no,
then put a request at city council meeting as a body, and then they could go ahead and add it.
that's not what he said. He said we don't need an actuary. If we want a report, he'll give us a report.
No.
I don't think
If you want one,
you don't need to cancel suspend the rules. You can just ask for it at the next council meeting or even right now.
Plus, there's a cost.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
but I thought we were agreed.
Go ahead.
I have Sikansky, Amboy Street, Dearborn Heights. First off, Dave, to you, your family, that tragic incident with your cousin, my heart goes out to all of you. There's, no way that's a good way to die, but it was a bad way. And so my sympathies.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Secondly, back in June, I believe, it might have been May, there was discussion about 24 properties, and this body asked the city to come back with the list. And to my knowledge, you have not received that
34.
list. Was it 34? But you have not received that list. Just a little reminder, I think it's important to get that list. Next thing, Zuhair, congratulations. I think the city is better with you on this council, and I think it was a good choice.
People like you make me want to do these things.
Well, thank you. 2 weeks ago, I stood here and I was concerned about the kids and traffic and the school crossings. The mayor thought that I was giving wrong information. Unfortunately, I was correct, and I didn't want to be correct. And we ended up having our superintendent walk kids at Riverside at least 2 days in a row that I know about. I did contact Director Swope on a Thursday evening last week after 7 p.m. He replied within 15 minutes, and since then the police have been there every day. So kudos to Director Swope. And then I'm really excited about the opportunity to get more police. It's what I have been preaching, and you guys are so sick of hearing me. I just want our police force to be at full staff. I want them to not be tired from too much overtime. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to get back to a full police force. And I hope that we utilize Act 78 that the citizens voted in the hiring process for the new police. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Before the next person comes up, Councilman you had something you want to say, or were you all set? Not in regards to before Sue. Something else. Okay. Go ahead.
Alma Gianni, Evangeline, Dearborn Heights. First, I want to congratulate you on the appointment tonight. Very glad.
The mic on?
The mic on. Here, it's
Yeah.
It's on. Just talk a little loud.
On a different note, is Ali Deep still on the thing?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Okay, so
Director Deep?
I'd like an update. It's been about a month or so. Kids are in school. What's the latest on the crossing?
Okay, so finish with all your
That's
questions and comments. Okay. So Mr. Deep would like to comment on that, please?
Sure.
He's looking for an update on the crossing at Beach Daily, the crossing
Yes.
of Crestwood.
Yes, so the crossing is in the design phase. I can't issue it to construction until the grant money is in place. If you recall, it's a SEMCOG process. So SEMCOG money is allocated for 24 construction, and I said that from the beginning. So we're using their money, so we can't fund it and go for money afterwards. We're waiting for that, but it is in the design phase. And the construction is scheduled for April, as early as April 24th.
Okay, but along with this comments, we had a rah-rah moment saying that we can at least get people out there to put paint on the streets, paint some crosswalks, have some police officers there, have some crossing people there. As you all know, driving down that street in the morning during school time, it's as crazy as it's ever been. So what happened to gathering a bunch of people and going out there and painting the crosswalk ourselves? I'm basically asking you guys, city council.
Okay. So this is something that's obviously administration at the end of the day on our end, we just approve any type of budget. I would be all okay with that, obviously, and this was something on administration to do and be looking into it. So fortunately, the director is not here, to be able to answer that.
I think there was somebody offered the paint and, I thought somebody offered the paint and it was just a matter of getting the bodies out there to go paint it or whatever. It was about a month or a month and a half ago.
Are you talking, Mr. Jenny, thank you, are you speaking about in front of Crestwood
Yes,
specifically?
specifically,
Yeah, so I can tell you this, that I'm gonna recognize that Mr. Conrad, that all the schools have been painted, except for Crestwood because of Beach Davy. Now, I'm not saying that that's okay, but I would like to see some big, I was just driving in Birmingham and I see a similar street to Beach Daily, and they have these big rectangles, and when you're going through it, you see the rectangles on the road. So maybe we should have that there where, and you can maybe write school zone on the right side of the school.
Something to slow these people down, make them more aware. They're all oblivious to the signs or people crossing. I mean, something's got to be done. I mean, we're not going to get this done until April of 2024. Talking, that's months away. Anything can happen. So please, let's address this sooner than later.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jenny. Next up. Actually, before we start, Robert Conrad's got his hand up. Do you have a quick comment to make, Director, on that? I assume it's in regards to Mr. Jenny. Go ahead, unmute yourself, please. Director Conrad?
Yes, we have painted all the crosswalks throughout the city. There may be some that need some refreshing. So if someone has some concerns, they can always call us at the DPW. Let us know where they have some concerns. We'll go out and take a look at them and see, if they do need refreshing. But every crosswalk has been done. There may be one quadrant where there was concrete work being done that we're waiting for the concrete to cure a little bit. But those are on our radar to be completed as soon as possible.
Okay, Director, he does have a concern in regards to Beach Daily crosswalk directly across from the school. So if you look into the Crestwood School District, Crestwood School, high school crossing area until such point they have a mechanical structure, but not structure, I'm sorry, until they go through the more formal process. If you could look into that, please.
Okay, there is an existing crosswalk there because we don't put crosswalks. And if there isn't a traffic control device, so there is no random crosswalks that can be put in. They have to be at, traffic controlled areas, either stop signs or traffic signals. So,
okay.
But I'll look at Beach Daily in the Crestwood School, high school area and see if there's anything that we missed.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, everyone. Bilal Mahmood, Outer Drive. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for considering my candidacy for this position, the vacancy. Congratulations, Councilman Abdul Haq. I'm confident, of course. This next piece, I was a little torn on whether or not I should proceed, but I think it has to be said. After I put in my name for the vacancy, it's something that I wanted to fill a 4-month term to help serve this community. I immediately got calls and texts berating and insulting me and my family for applying for something that was, I think, perceived to these people as their seat. And in my professional career, I have never encountered such unprofessionalism. It was incredibly disappointing. And in the coming days, my family received calls, harassment, my family, and countless lies and threats were directed at me.
Did you make a police report?
I will be.
Yeah, you should.
I'm not one to engage in the dramatic side of politics, but this behavior across the line, families should never be involved. All individuals feeling entitled to positions and willing to tarnish the reputation of anyone who stands between them and that they think is theirs is unacceptable.
Good for you.
I choose to live in this city. I love it. I have a deep respect for it, and I don't plan on leaving it. So I encourage everyone to remain positive and keep things clean moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bilal, I know you for a long time. You are real gentleman in this community. And I'm happy that you are living in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret King, Mayfair Street. I don't know if any of you guys are aware. On last Friday around 3:08 p.m. Party School, once again, there was a child hit riding his bike home from school. This area, we got the crosswalks painted, but we need more. Also, too, Taylor over this week had installed LED flashing stopping lights. I did my homework. They're very expensive. $405,000, $768. I read that way wrong, but they're a pretty penny. But that's to cover all of our school zones in Dearborn Heights. The estimated total for the bright side post reflectors for all three school districts are $597.81. That is something I strongly feel that we need to look into. It's becoming nighttime. Kids are staying after school. Plays are going on. Please, guys, let's look into something as far as that. Read another statistic. Sadly, there are more than 1,000 fatal school transportation related crashes between 2011 and 2020, with an average of 113 fatalities per year. Studies have found that as many as 40 students are hit by a vehicle while walking each day, resulting in more than 15,000 injuries on an annual basis. Statistic 2. Each week in the U.S., there are 5 teen pedestrian deaths walking to and from school. I feel these statistics are very repeating. Can we look into getting a grant or something for these bright side reflectors, please? Around our school zones at the least. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I've got a quick question real quick. I'm sorry. I saw your post, by the way. I actually saw that. And you gave us the number of. Oh, sorry, I need your pen. Stay up there, Margaret, because director would like to comment on it. You said would like to? Come on in. What was the total, the number that you said for the reflector just in our school zone?
For all 3 school districts around the schools. If I mapped quest everything right and I counted all the stop signs and everything, they're all up to date. It should be $9,597.81.
Okay, my next question, you gave me like a $400,000 number.
That's for the LED flashing stop sign.
100,000. Okay, and then.
Am I saying that right? I think so. I got the numbers. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Okay, the director would like to comment on your statement, so thank you.
Hello again. On the young individual who got hit the other day, very unfortunate, but I also want to set some context to it, and let's have a discussion real quick. First, young man did make a poor choice, unfortunately. It was a crosswalk, some short distance away. There was a crossing guard.
The director, I'm just not going to go. It does a civil lawsuit.
So, I
want details.
I agree. There are certain things there in place. So let's just have a real quick conversation. It's going to take everybody to have safe crossings and safe streets. Slowing down, as you guys have all said. You know, actually stopping at stop signs because they have a white banner on them doesn't mean they're optional. You stop at stop signs.
you work with your young people to actually cross at crosswalks. There's not enough police to make this problem go away. There's not enough crossing guards I can hire. But there's conversations you can have with children and say, hey, let's do the right thing and cross at crosswalks. Or if you're an adult and you see a youngster who might not even be yours, hey, don't do that. But it's got to take all of us to solve this thing. It's just we can't police our way out of it, nor crossing guards out of it. So again, and I agree with Roger, I don't want to get into it because that's not what it's about. But what it's about is looking out for each other, making sure our youngsters who might not have the right frame of mind, hey son, ma'am, please don't do that. Go over there. That's all it's going to take is all we watch out for each other. I've seen that enough in this city. They do it. I'm happy to say I'm glad other parents look out for their other children, but that's what we have to keep doing. That's all I wanted to add to that. I'm very happy to say I like that parents look out for each children. Please keep doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. Next up.
Hello, Council. Ahmed Kavi, Midway Street. We're on way to the side. I'm gonna keep this brief. I wanted to begin by thanking the council for considering me for the vacancy of Great Muscat seat. I was really happy with the candidate pool that we had. We had a lot of wonderful talent, a lot of dedicated folks, and a lot of experience as well. And I'm happy with the decision that the council took. I know Mr. Zarab has a lot of experience and will be an asset to the board. And I will continue serving this community. I know that we have an election coming up on November 7th, so we'll be hitting the doors hard and continuing to talk about it.
Wait, don't forget you can't campaign. So.
Oh yes,
yeah, just don't worry.
No worries. Admit that part out. But yes, I wanted to thank you all, and I'll keep it brief as well. But I hope you all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for running. That's to all. Bob?
Yeah, a big hand rose at us. I'd like to say something about the discussion on pensions. First of all, municipal employees of the city are very fortunate. Very few people get pensions. I told my wife that passed the test 40 years ago. Too bad you didn't take that job. You'd be getting about $2,000 a month. Fortunately, my wife worked 40 years for a law firm. Guess what her pension is? How about zero? Guess what my pension is? Zero. Pensions are luxuries beyond belief. The police and fire have it better than most. I'm not a actuarian, but the first thing I would have done is find out what police are paid in Trenton, Ecorse, Wyandotte, Melvindale, Allen Park, Lincoln Park, and I don't have to be an actuary. Maybe $40,000 is the right price to start. I didn't hear anything about how you're going to increase that 5% a year, 10% a year. So within 5 years, they're well beyond 50. I don't know what the number is. I can't be compared with Dearborn. This is a bedroom community with limited commercial, no industrial. You don't know what you can afford. I'm not against the police. I wouldn't be a policeman at $80,000 a year, and I couldn't be a fireman. So you find out what the facts are. Find out what that number is. Don't compare it with Dearborn. I read the local newspaper page to page. You know what I see? Fire chiefs in cities that wouldn't want to work in, after they get their pension, they get another job in Plymouth Township. We could be hiring veteran policemen because this place is not the jungle. They're paying bigger at places that are dangerous, and then they retire after 20 years, 25 years, and they get jobs in minor communities, Plymouth Township, God knows what farming community. Those are advantages you have. Think about it like that. If I had done a smart thing and decided to take a job at 18 and wait 20 years. They're all getting assessed. I got cousins that retired from the military that got political jobs working for the post office. Think about that. Do not include uniforms, overtime pay, vacation pay, and let them put it on their pensions. That's a big problem that we had when I was on council.
Thank you, Doug. Any other members in the audience?
Sorry, I forgot to say congratulations to him and good luck in the election.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry. We have somebody on Zoom, Nicole, Buckman. Please go ahead, unmute, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
All right, I just got a quick question and a comment about 7B for the new payroll company. Do we know when that's going to go into effect? And then the comment based on that question would be, I was working in the comptroller's office when we had gone from ADP to Paylocity. And what had happened is it was towards the end of the year and it was double reported. So we got 2 W-2s. So when people were going to file their income taxes, it was showing, just say hypothetically, instead of making 40,000, you made 80,000, which obviously was not correct because it was double reported. And it was a hassle to get that corrected. So just something for Comptroller King to keep in mind if the switch is going to happen before the end of this year, make sure that it's not double reported by Paylocity and Paycom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. I'm not sure if it's Mariana or maybe the mayor or somebody, just relay that message just in case you look forward. Okay. Anybody else with a public comment? Hearing or seeing none on Zoom, motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Councilor McDougal, supported by Councilor Constant. Thank you very much. And all a good night.
Okay. Say good night to the stream. Have a good night, everybody.